All right, peace. Peace to the gods, peace to the gods. Y'all forgive me because I'm a little bit under the weather. All right, peace. Peace to the gods, peace to the gods. Y'all forgive me because I'm a little bit under the weather. A little bit under the weather. But we're going to get it in today. I can see in the comments where somebody says, you never heard of a state conspiracy. What? I'm going to show you one. I'm going to start off the show with one since you ain't seen one. I'm going to show you a couple, as a matter of fact. I think that's very, very interesting. You ain't seen it. So I'm going to show you this. And I've been studying this for a number of years. I've helped a lot of people. The thing about it is they are really trying to hide this information, and they are very aggressive with hiding. And I appreciate the $4.99 Wade Emery. I appreciate any donations. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be expecting some donations today because this is going to be a fire show. So let's get the likes up. As you come in, hit the like button because this is going to be a fire show today because I'm going to be going in and I ain't going to pull no punches. I'm just because people are always asking me things. And the idea came from this from one of my listeners. She told me, why don't you do the Michael Vick case? And I was like, yeah, why don't do the Michael Vick case, with the dog, so I'm going back looking at old cases. Now you can do the same thing too. Everything that I'm going to look at, I'm going to show you what I look at when I first get an indictment from someone and how it's always commercial. We're dealing on the federal level. Now you're going to have some attorneys out there who are going to be, they just ignorant. And they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. One of the things you're going to see with attorneys is that they're not as smart as they think they are, and they're definitely not as smart as you think they are, especially when it comes to this information, because they're just taking money and doing plea deals. They ain't reading shit. They're not doing any work. I can't even believe that they would have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to even comment on a show like this. But hey, we're going to get to it, and then you can explain it. You can do your show, and you can explain what I'm showing you. All right? Now, my contention is that it is all commercial, that the United States, they have a jurisdiction. So the first thing that I'm looking at when somebody comes, they want consultation with me or something, they have a federal case, and they have their indictment. I read the indictment, and I'm reading the indictment because I want to see how the government obtained jurisdiction. They're always going to put it in there because their jurisdiction is right there in Article 1, Section 8. That entire thing in Section 8, that's their jurisdiction. Let's read this real quick. Article 1, Section 8. Look at some stuff. All right, so right here, you can see these are their enumerated powers. All right, these are the powers that they have, of course, to adjudicate. All right, because we're telling with order. That's why they don't want to tell you. They don't want to. That's the reason that they obfuscate so much and try to keep everything confusing is they don't want to give you any bone that's going to put you on the right path to deciphering what is going on. Once you do that, it's very easy to see what is going on. But so one of the things they're not going to tell you is if you're Article 1 or Article 3 court, they're going to say, well, it's federal court. They're all federal courts. They are federal courts. All right, but there's a difference in an Article 1 judge and an administrator. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. All right, so, and they're going to give you some type of bullshit. Let's see, Article 3 judges, district court judges. Let's look at this and see how they did other type of judges. They don't really tell you. See, like I put Article 1 versus Article 3. So they're going to say Article 3 judges of the Constitution governs the appointment, tenure, and payment of Supreme Court justices and federal circuit and district judges. These judges, often referred to as Article 3 judges, are nominated by the President and confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Article 3 states that these judges hold their office during good behavior, which means they have a lifetime appointment except under very limited circumstances. Article 3 judges can be removed from office only through impeachment by the House of Representatives and conviction by the Senate. Article 3 judgeships are created by legislation enacted by Congress. All right, track authorization judges. Article 3 judges aren't created by legislation. Article 3 judges are created by the Constitution. See, that's that bullshit that they put in there right quick. The Constitution made Article 3 judges, not no motherfucking legislation. We have separation of powers. All right, and that's the main thing that you got to know. You got to know that there is a difference between an appointed judge and a judge that's been that's like an administrator. They may have 4 years on the bench or people voting them in and things like that. The reason that a judge has to have lifetime tenure and protection from salary diminution, a true judge, is he has to be able to be unbiased. And in order for him to do that, he can't be threatened by somebody taking his job or taking his money or anything like that. So that's why they put those protections in place. When you don't see that, you're not dealing with a constitutional judge. All right. So let me see if they got some reviews. Let me see if I got a law review. Judicial power of the United States. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. This is confusing. This is why you got to know the principles of the Constitution. Because what does that mean? Congress has the ability to create tribunals that are inferior to the Supreme Court under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 9. All right? That's a totally different. We have separation of powers. They can't infringe on the powers. Each branch can't infringe on the powers of the other branch. They purposely keep this confusing. This is the confusing thing that the main thing that they don't want you to find out. The Supreme Court has held that Congress may create non-Article 3 forums. All right, well, look at that. Where adjuncts to Article 3 courts adjudicate federal questions. That's exactly what it is. Notice what they said, non-Article 3 forums. That's who created them? Congress is creating them. An adjunct is an adjudicator, most commonly an administrative agency or a magistrate judge that does not function as an independent court, but instead acts as a subordinate to the federal courts. Adjuncts have become highly important in the modern era, handling many cases involving public benefits and assisting Article 3 judges with their heavy caseload. And what the really root cause of it is because people are U.S. citizens. So Article 1, the Social Security number was created by Congress. So people with Social Security numbers, if you catch a case or something like that, you're being adjudicated in one of their courts, not a constitutional court. You can read all this till the cows come home, but you're going to see how they intentionally obfuscate any information that I challenge you to do your own research and see if you can see with clarity them explain to you the difference between Article 1 and Article 3 courts. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. All right, so let's get back to this. All right. Trying to get back on this right here. Why I keep doing that shit? Hold on. Let me take this off. Let me take this off. Put it over here. I appreciate that. Lux, you can still love your mans and be manly, dog. Love you, bro. I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that a lot. I appreciate the love y'all show me. All right. All right, so I got it. All right, so now what we're going to do today, all right, we're going to take a look at some indictments. I'm going to look at the Michael Vick indictment. I'm going to look at the Young Thug indictment, and I'm going to look at the Winston Stroud indictment. And I'm going to show you that these are commercial in nature, that the civil is really what I want to show you. And what does that mean when I say civil? When I say civil, that means that it's about money. It's some sort of debt collection that they're hiding from you. We are still operating in some sort of very sophisticated debtor's prison. And the reason for that, if you think about it, it makes sense. Only 51% of the people pay taxes. And I'm about to show you how a judge, somebody just sent this to me, how he is adjudicating. Let me pull this up right now. This is what I'm talking about right here. They're going to try to act like this is like not the norm. This is the norm. This is going on all over the country. Pull this up real quick. All right, I want y'all to look at this real quick. I want to try to get y'all mind right for what I'm about to show you. Where is that? Hey. There it is right there. All right, so I'm gonna show you this video. And I want you to, this is a judge. He's a mayor, and he ain't no attorney or nothing. This happens a lot. I don't know why they tripping. They got the same thing in California. You go through them before a commissioner when you go to traffic court. I don't know why they're trying to say it's just Louisiana and Ohio, but they doing this all over the country. And this is why you got to ask for the nature and cause of the action. The time is over for you just to go into court and let them run through you like it's McDonald's or something like that. We can't play that game anymore. Somebody got to answer some questions. I just got a couple of questions. And they don't like you asking questions. They talking about judge don't have to answer any questions. Okay, well, if you don't have to, well, what is he? He's a public servant. Why are you scared to answer questions? Let's look at this real quick. I want y'all to check this out.
You've gotten a ticket in a small town in Louisiana, you've likely dealt with a type of court that doesn't even exist in 48 other states.
Mayor's courts are unique because even without a law degree, a mayor is allowed to preside over court.
But a legal expert questions whether the mayor can actually be an impartial judge if the town profits when people pay their fines. Here's our new investigation in partnership with ProPublica, Mayor, Judge, and Jury.
Audio inside a tense staff meeting.
So we're gone by the end of this morning. There's gonna be some layoff.
Led by a Louisiana mayor who refuses to answer our questions in an interview.
Mr. Mayor, how are you? Lee Zurich. We talked on the phone. How you doing?
This mayor is also a judge without a law degree. He has little, if any, training to run a courtroom.
There's no accountability, Lee.
And it happens because the state of Louisiana allows it. Only Louisiana and Ohio have this unique and little-known legal system.
You frustrated right now?
Am I? Am I mad? Yeah, I'm mad.
We met Teresa Parker in Fenton, Louisiana, a small village north of Lake Charles, about 3 hours away from her Slidell home.
Do you think they're taking advantage of people?
I felt like they did. I felt like he did.
Here's video from earlier this year. Fenton police pulled Parker over on her way back from a nearby casino. To contest the ticket, she drove all the way back to Fenton and showed up to what's known as Mayor's Court.
So the court's closed tonight, they told you?
Yeah, they told me. I drove all the way down here for nothing.
Fenton holds Mayor's Court once a month, but back in August when Parker showed up, court had been canceled. The fines and fees that run through Mayor's Court essentially run the town. In the last year reviewed by auditors, more than 90% of the village of Fenton's revenue, $1.3 million, was collected from fines and fees, the vast majority from traffic tickets.
90+% of their town budget, village budget, is from tickets from people like you.
So of course they're gonna give people tickets.
Because what?
They get revenue from it. And it's not fair.
And if you're someone like Teresa Parker who thinks she was wrongfully ticketed, you need to convince this person you're...
Now, if you believe they the only Louisiana and Ohio are the only ones doing this, you the biggest damn fool ever. Courts have always been about making money. When I read the clerk's praxis, when you go back to England under the feudal system, you had the lords had their own courts. Everybody had their own courts. Barons had their own courts. The High Admiral had his own court. The king had his own court. everybody had a court because they were cash register machines. Everybody was making money. That's how, and they still doing it to this very day. They make money. Courts make money. They make a lot of fucking money. And it's just really robbing people. They fleecing money from people. And he's not the only one doing it. I can show you something else where they did in California. They investigated California and just saw that, okay, these are privately owned trading companies. That's what they are. They're privately owned trading companies is what they are. But they don't want you to know that. See, what happens is when you get a charge is a lien on property. The lien is being conducted against your social security number because that's the only thing they can lien up. That's the only nexus they have between you and the state is your social security number. So they're able to form a lien. Once they got a lien in place, that's evidence of a debt. Debt in today's world is money because somebody owes an obligation. So now they can discount that and sell it on the markets. This is how they are funding municipalities. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. And this judge knows that. These dudes, they just in the country, they probably slow as fucking everything. They done got caught up in some shit, but they all are doing it. Everybody's doing it. Everybody is doing it. They selling, they involved in a slave trade is what it really is, but the Constitution allows that because it tells you in the Constitution that slavery shall not exist unless you are convicted of a crime. Unless you are convicted of a crime. And that's when you read, let me read this to you, man. We got to pause for a second. We got to read some stuff, man. We got to read some stuff. Man. Y'all gonna learn today. Because these people, they've been doing this for too long. It's way too long. Okay, this is SPC University. So we're going to go on our dashboard also. Hey, currency circulator is flying. Remember, you need to refer two people. I don't care if you want to use your referral link in the back office. Let's get this thing going because I'm anxious to start paying out some money. I'm going to pay out the first person to reach $5,000. I'm going to pay him out, and I'm going to do it live on the air. All right, so right here, we got the dictionaries. All right, and we're gonna go to black. Somebody always talking about I use old dictionaries all the time. I'm like, man, get for real. I'll be keeping up with all the dictionaries. They be saying the same shit. They had every new edition they had a few little things and everything, but for the most part, a lot of them be still the same. All right, so right here, we're gonna check out slavery. We're going to check out slavery. And I don't know why people don't understand this. Serf, a person in condition of federal feudal servitude bound to labor at the will of the Lord, a villain. Serfs differed from slaves in that they were bound to the native soil rather than being the absolute property of the master. That's interesting. But everything we're dealing with today is a fiction. So let's see. Can I go to the next one? Servitus, bondage, slavery. All right, here we go. Slavery. A situation in which one person has absolute power over the life, fortune, and liberty of another. Sense 2. The practice of keeping individuals in such a state of bondage or servitude. And here we have an explanation. Slavery was outlawed by the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Now, why are you going to say it was outlawed and we're going to sit here and read? We can say, except when you convicted. This is the type of shit they do to confuse you. You can read the Constitution and see very clearly it says slavery was eliminated unless you convicted of a crime, motherfucker. That's why you got to read these motherfuckers. Let me tell you something. They are actively trying to hide things. This is why you need the old dictionaries. Because you go in the older dictionary, you will see better explanations of things because there wasn't no internet, wasn't no television. They weren't trying to hide anything. Today, they trying to hide a lot of shit from you. A lot of shit they trying to hide or make it confusing or something like that. Well, let's look at the expert commentary. It says, Slavery was a big problem for the Constitution makers. Those who profited by it insisted on protecting it. Those who loathed it dreaded even more the prospect that to insist on abolition would mean that the Constitution would die borning, meaning at its inception. All right? So the framers reached a compromise of sorts. The word slave and slavery would never be mentioned, but the Constitution would safeguard the peculiar institution from the abolitionists. Now, you can look up peculiar institution and you can see that that's just another word for slavery. They call it peculiar, that is a legal term, peculiar institution. All right, so what they are saying right here is that they just stopped using the word slave. That's why you don't see them use the word in nothing. So my next question would be to you, because I know some of y'all are sitting out there right now, just staring out into space, not understanding what the fuck I'm telling you. And this is what really gets under my skin, because you ain't concerned with the shit till your ass catch a charge. That's when you start paying motherfucking attention. When you need to pay attention right now. My question to you is, if they're not using the word slave, what words are they using in place of that word? If they ain't using the word slave, but the peculiar institution, it says the Constitution protects it. Why we got 1 million motherfuckers on the internet, on all kind of live streams and everything, talking about slavery was outlawed? It's just a testament how motherfuckers don't read. Slavery is alive and well, and it's bigger than it's ever been and more sophisticated. They don't sell you and stand you up and sell you no more. They sell your ass on the stock market. Let's get back. Let's finish listening. Let's finish listening what these people talking.
You're innocent. Eddie Alford, the mayor of Fenton, who is also the courtroom judge.
Mr. Mayor, you told us you would do an interview with us, though, Mr. Mayor.
I had to pause this because I see this goddamn ignorant shit for the last goddamn 10 years. I've been seeing it. Can you lean a birth certificate? No, motherfucker, you ain't leaning a birth certificate. Why in the fuck do y'all be saying that? That's how they catch y'all ass up. The birth certificate, not a negotiable instrument. I understand that, motherfucker. The birth certificate is just evidence that you're alive and you are capable of doing labor. The only thing that have value in a bankrupt country is labor. Why? How do you think they borrow money on your ass from when they just sent that $300 billion over to motherfucking Ukraine and you gonna pay it back to your job? Oh, they put in a lien on your bitch ass? The secure party process was put in place to stop that shit. Because they're borrowing the money because he's saying you incompetent. You can't take care of your goddamn self. That's why they call it benefits and privileges. So we're going to borrow. When they send that money to Ukraine, ask those motherfuckers, how did that benefit you? They're going to tell you, well, Ukraine, they Jewish, Israel is our partner, and we benefit from the technology and all this shit. Well, man, what? And you sit there and believe that dumbass shit. The more I study politicians, the more I see these some ignorant ass people y'all putting in office, man. They ain't too bright. There's a lot of people in office ain't bright, man. They just up there grabbing money. They not bright. You could go up there and probably do a better job. You could go up there and probably do a better job. They just tell you any fucking thing and you just accept it. I get tired of people saying, well, you can't lean the birth certificate. You're not leaning the birth certificate. I just stay consistent with this shit for the last 10 years. The birth certificate is just to show them you're the holder in due course of that document. That document represents that somebody is alive and capable of doing labor. That's why when you have this, the collateral description, it's talking about all the shit you own in your labor. We only talking about labor. Please don't come to me talking about leaning up a birth certificate. We talking about labor. Because what are they doing to you? They putting a lean. Wait a minute. Let me ask him. Can you lean up? Let me ask him a question. Because he didn't ask a comment. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Imposition, this is in Georgia right here. Imposition and cost, assessment and payment of costs in criminal proceedings, general provisions. Hold on, let me see if I got that on my, let me see if I got it on my PDF download too. Yep, Georgia Criminal Code. All right, so I'm going to show y'all the difference between when you go to the law library and all you lazy motherfuckers that's just trying to study off the internet. I don't respect nobody that get all the information off the internet. I don't respect no guru or nobody and you doing everything off the fucking internet. Because when I go down to the law library, everywhere I go in the country and I open up these books, the motherfucking books are still brand new. Sometimes the page is still stuck together. I ain't seen no motherfucking feds in this bitch. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nobody in these hoes. Every time I go to the law library, all you motherfuckers getting everything straight off the internet. And then you sitting here thinking you can interpret this. You looking at this right here. This is off the internet right here, Georgia Criminal Code. The cost of prosecution, except the fees of his own witness, should not be demanded of a defendant until after trial and conviction. If convicted, judgment may. Now, what does this word may mean? That gives you the impression that they have some sort of option or discretion. Let's see. This is why you got it. The word may is the biggest, one of the biggest examples of a word that in the legal dictionary, it means something completely different than everyday parlance. But it says right here, if convicted, judgment may be entered against the defendant for all cost. According, this is what we talking about. I accept for value, return for value, all the charging instruments in this matter. I'm covering all costs in the case. That's why you put in a bond. It's in the nature of a replevin bond because they're seizing property. They're sequestering property. Okay, so judgment may be entered against the defendant for all costs accruing in the committee and trial courts and by any officer pending the prosecution. Any officer pending the prosecution? Any officer? You got your magistrate court. You got your probable cause. You got the superior court. You got the sheriff. The judgment shall be a lien from the date of his arrest on all the property of the defendant. The clerk shall issue an execution on the judgment against the property. Okay, you person out there asking me to lien up a birth certificate. I want you to explain right now, what the fuck are they talking about? What property are they leaning? Do you know the definition of property, first of all? Hold on. I got to do this. People ask me questions, and I'll be like, what? So, tell me. Tell me. What are they leaning? This is the criminal code, too. You see this right here. This is the criminal code. 1711-1 criminal procedure. I here in Georgia. The reason I know Georgia so well, because this is where I had all my issues at here in Georgia. So I didn't study their statutes. I don't know about your state. But usually the principles are the same in every state. They may have the language different or something like that, but they all doing the same shit. You just got, if you really want to understand it, you need to start studying attachment liens, because this is what it is. It's a writ of attachment. This is what this is. It's a writ of attachment. So here is the on the internet. Let's look and see when you go to the law library. So you go to the law library and pull the book. I copy this. This is how you look when you pull the book out. All right, the cost of a prosecution, except the fees of his own witness, shall not be demanded of a defendant until after trial and conviction. If convicted, judgment may be entered against the defendant for all costs accruing in the committing and trial courts and by any officer pending the prosecution. The judgment shall be a lien from the date of his arrest on all the property of the defendant. They putting liens on you. Equality under the law is mandatory. Why these motherfuckers want to act like we can't put a lien on ourselves? But you just free to do it. You can put a lien on me whenever you want, and we the motherfucking sovereigns. You public servants. Y'all got to get y'all mind right. These people think you stupid. Let's look at it real quick. These right here give you judicial decisions, because what it is once you have some facts, okay, that have to do with this statute, we see how they applied facts to certain situations. This is why you read case law. All right, so this is all the case law. All All right, so judge has no discretion. All right, judge has no discretion in the matter of taxing cost. While the word may ordinarily denotes permission and not command, the use of that word in the second sentence of this section cannot be construed to mean that the trial judge is vested with discretion in the matter of taxing the cost against the convicted defendant. We need to look up this word tax too, because it don't mean what you think it mean either. I'm gonna look that up next. There is no provision of law for the payment of the fees of the officers of the court when the judge in the judge's discretion fails to tax the cost against the convicted defendant. And it cannot be assumed that it was ever intended that the compensation of these officers should rest in the discretion of the judge. Here it is right here, they're getting paid. This is why we're looking at this video, this black guy down there in Louisiana, they're getting paid. They taxing the cost against you. They're getting paid. This is money. I done studied the history of the courts. This has been going on for 400 years. This shit ain't just started. The common law courts and the admiralty courts have been vying for power for centuries. Some decades, the admiralty court will rule. Some decades, the common law courts will rule. Right now, the admiralty courts are ruling. Because they ain't got no money, they had to switch to it. They can't have a claim when you don't have no money. They operating colorably. So they had to come up with a colorable system. That's why all caps names on everything in the public. Your driver's license, your checkbook, your electricity bill, the indictments we're going to look at in a minute. They charging your property. The property. The property is the all caps name. The only evidence of the all caps name is the social security number. You can go in court, any court judge first, you got a social security number. Do you work a job? All those questions, you need a social security number to have a job. You need a social security number to have a driver's license. That's why they're asking you these questions, because the social security number is what they leaning. And a lien is evidence of a debt. And when there's a debt, there's a creditor and a debtor. Don't motherfucking play with me. Don't fucking play with me. Don't play with me. I'm sitting there reading this shit. That's why I want you to read. They don't be hiding shit. It's just couched in language that may be too transcendent for ordinary capacities. And that is only the reason. The only reason for that is your bitch ass won't look up no words. Let's look at this. Judge's duty to enter judgment for cost. Since the law allows the judge no discretion as to entering judgment for cost against the convicted defendant, but imposes the burden of paying costs as an incident to conviction, the verdict of guilty against the defendant imposes upon the judge the duty of entering judgment against the defendant for all the costs. This sounds civil to me. This sounds civil to me. Let's get down here. Let's get down here. Let's get down here. Let's look at this right. Gene Keaton showed me this right here. Right here. Judgment costs are collectible by a five-fay. Now, if you don't know what a five-fay is, a five-fay means fieri facias, which is a lien. Let's pause. Let's pause. Let's pause. And let's go and look up the word. Let's go look up the word. We got it. We in class. And I'm sorry I'm upset, but what be pissing me off is when people be like, they be trying, can you lean? I heard somebody say, you can't lean up a birth certificate. Bitch, we ain't trying to lean up no birth certificate. It's too much motherfucking shit. Too much guy. These people over there making these videos, they making videos off dumb motherfuckers. Off information that's being passed around. So some stupid shit. It ain't never been about leaning up a birth certificate. It ain't never been about a birth certificate that has value. You're making a bond based off the value of your labor. And nobody can tell you what your labor is worth. The future value of your labor. That's all they got. They didn't pawned all the land in the country, all the businesses. We ain't got no money. The Federal Reserve is over our monetary system. They didn't hawked off everything. They owned everything in the country. The only thing we had left was birth. They take birth certificates up there and pledge that the future labor of the American people. How do you think they borrowed $300 billion? Somebody please tell me what is guaranteeing $300 billion to Ukraine? And what piece of paper are they using and giving to the Federal Reserve to guarantee that? That evidences that they will repay it back, if it ain't a motherfucking birth certificate. All you have to do is be in the hospital. They will arrest you if you try to leave without a birth certificate. They won't make you get a social security number, but they'll be on your ass to get one. Try to leave that hospital without getting a birth certificate and a social security number and watch what happens. They ain't gonna let you leave without that birth certificate, but they'll put some pressure on you about that social security number. You just tell them to get out your fucking face, because social security number is voluntary and they can't get around that. The social security number evidences that you are a motherfucking incompetent. That's why they borrowing money in your name. When did the government start borrowing money? But man, at the beginning of the century, we was the richest country on planet Earth. We was the richest country on planet Earth. Wasn't no mortgages. Every fucking house in the United States of America has a mortgage on it. And if you don't have a mortgage, you paying property tax. And if you don't pay that shit, they're gonna take the property. When did that shit start? How did that happen? Nobody asked any questions. Motherfucker just accept shit. Let's look at this real quick. Let's go in the 8th edition. Let's go to F. Write this word down, because you need to know it. The sheriffs use this word a lot. You'll see it in paperwork. This is where you'll see this word if you get into this. All right, so right here you see fieri facetious. All right, so let's see if I can get to it. There it is right there. All right, so this was called, it's called a five-fe. That's a short, that's an abbreviation. So fieri facetious, it means you have caused to be done. It's Latin, that you caused this to be done. It's your fault. This is why a judge, he'll tell you, he said everybody in jail is there voluntarily. Remember that judge said that? He said everybody who is in federal prison is there voluntarily. I'm gonna dig that up for you. A writ of execution that directs a marshal or a sheriff to seize and sell a defendant's property to satisfy a money judgment. And y'all get confused off this word property because the first thing coming to your mind is motherfucking real estate. Real estate is real property. You got real property and personal property. What property we talking about? It receives its name from the Latin words in the writ, quod fieri facetious de bononis et catilis, that you cause to be made of the goods and the shadows. It is the form of execution in common use in levying upon the judgment debtor's personal property. What personal property? Your labor is your personal property. I hope you understand that. Your labor, what else could it be? Your labor is your personal property. The writ of fieri facetious, commonly called a five-fe, which commanded literally that you caused to be made, was an early common law means of enforcing payment of a judgment. So they're enforcing a pay. If you arresting a homeless person, okay, well, how are you enforcing the payment against him? They get everybody. They put it on everybody. Because they don't need it. They just hold you in jail. It was, in effect, an order to the sheriff of the court to enforce judgment against the debtor by levy, seizure, and sale of his personalty to the extent needed to satisfy a judgment. Okay, so we can see right here. We go back to here. Costs are collectible by levy, a lien, of a five-fe. Costs in the criminal prosecution are collectible of the defendant by the levy of a five-fe at the termination of a prosecution, if it finally results in the conviction of the defendant. Now you can understand why every attorney that come through the door, he makes you to take a motherfucking plea. A guilty plea kills all known and unknown defenses. Their whole system is structured to force you to take a plea. If they hold you in jail, they'll hold you there 6, 8, 9 months. Ain't got no witnesses, ain't got shit. They just let you stay there. You be in there crying, well, what's going on? Why are these people so corrupt? Because they're getting paid off your ass. They put a lien on you. A lien is a debt. We live in a debt-based system. Debt is money. Everybody's looking for a way to create debt. And the best way to do that is to put lien on property, your car notes, your house. Secured. And they doing it to everybody through your labor. It's like you got to pay your debt to society, man. You think that that's just a phrase they came up with? You got to pay your debt to society? Let's look at something else. Let's look at something else. This right here freaked me out too. And this is available on SBC University. You don't have to join. You go right over there right now, go to PDF download, go right there and download it. You look at it for yourself. Or you can take your ass to the law library and pull the book off the shelf. Cost of collectible by levy of a fee. Cost in the criminal prosecution or collectible of the defendant by levy of a fee at the termination of the prosecution. Okay, I just read that. Look at this right here. Cost of feeding the prisoner while prisoner is in prison awaiting trial. Or part of court cost collectible by the defendant. Okay, so let me ask you this. So you think all them bologna and cheese sandwiches, nigga, all them breakfasts, them eggs and all that shit, they feeding your ass in jail, them goddamn clothes that you put on and all that, you think that was free? You're wondering, well, how they paying for all this? They paying for it because they put a lien on you and they selling the debt on the markets. We had a Bloomberg screen where I was doing securitization audits on foreclosures, and it came across, I found a section on it where every fucking court in the United States of America had a CUSIP number. The cases had a CUSIP number. I put that on the website too. Let's look at this real quick. I can't believe these people even trying me like this. Don't try me, man. You don't know who you fucking with. Oh, please don't try me. This right here is just some beginner shit I'm going over too. All right, so somebody put this on the website. I got a lot of stuff. Man. Where is that thing at? All right, so this is the court registry investment system. It's called the look it up, Chris, court registry investment system. All right. Court registry, and what do you mean investment system? All right, so somebody put this on the internet. All right, somebody put some shit on the inside, put it on the internet. People don't take it serious. But you can see right here, these are look at this, a penalty, 135 million. And you can see right here, here's the CUSIP and block numbers right here. CUSIP numbers, and here are the case numbers, par values of all the cases. They got juveniles on here. Where's them juveniles? A lot of these like juveniles. Weekly operating statistics, liquidity fund, income allocation, case deposits, case withdrawals, total number of cases, amount available for investment. Okay, now I'm going to take you over to another video called the Judge's Slush Fund, all right, where it shows that these are private trading companies. Somebody did a Freedom of Information Act request and got the EIN number for the court and pulled up all type of shit. If the information's out there, if you're really interested in doing this, you don't have to speculate on none of this shit. I don't like speculating. This is the money that they making. It's called, you can look it up right now, Court Registry Investment System. Court Registry Investment System. Here go the Middle District of Georgia, Court Registry Investment System. Chris, y'all got them. So we can't, so what are they investing? What, they had none of this? What are they, this is what make it look stupid for these attorneys to be talking like they talking, because they got to operate under plausible deniability. They can't hide shit from you. You just ain't digging. What are they investing? What they investing, y'all? Somebody tell me. You putting a lien against yourself to stop this shit. That's why you putting a UCC1 in your criminal case. Because you got a priority perfected interest in your property, your labor. And you let them know, like, look, motherfucker, I already got a $200 billion lien against my labor. If you want to put a lien against it, you need to pay me that $200 billion first, because I'm first in line, first in time. Before you lien up my property, I'm unalienable. Unalienable rights. We talking about commerce. It's the commerce game.
This is why when you go in there and say, hey, let me get the bid bond, everybody, can I get the bid bond, sir? Just hit your attorney with it. Just be in a meeting with your attorney. If you got an attorney, just be in a meeting with him and just he be there talking, telling you that bullshit. Yeah, I spoke to the prosecutor and, he's got a real offer for you. He's offering you, 25 years, 15 years probation. I think it's a real good deal. I think you should take it. And then you just hit him with, can I get the bid bond? I don't know what you're talking about. They can say they don't know what you're talking about, anything outside of court. They can lie, do whatever, because in law, ain't no such thing as lying. It's only perjury, all right? You have to say, okay, well, will you attest to that under penalty of perjury? Can I get you to write out an affidavit saying you don't know anything about it? See, you got to understand how the game is played. You're getting played is what's happening because they know you don't know. Why would you think this is about truth, justice, in the American way? You got to be the biggest if you are watching this and you're an attorney or you one of these goddamn anti-sovereigns on another channel, you got to be the biggest goddamn fool on planet Earth if you think this is about anything other than making money, nigga. You're as stupid as hell if you think that our justice system is about anything other than making money. Everything on this planet is about making money. And money in a system where there is no gold and silver, they use negotiable instrument. Money is being used, bonds. A bond means a promise to pay. But like your word is bond. Bond just means promise. Don't get all sophisticated with it, it's a negotiable. Bond just means promise, nigga. Let me look it up. Let's look it up real quick. Because they'll say some crazy shit. They'll be like, what are you talking about? Bond. They start getting this long-ass fucking explanation of what a bond is. Like, where you getting this long-ass explanation from, man? The bond just means promise. That's all it means. Look it up real quick. Bond, an obligation, semicolon, a promise. It's explained. That semicolon means when you say obligation, we're going to clarify what an obligation is. It's a promise. Right there, see? Bond, a promise. Let me pull it up so I can see it. I know some people can't see. Put it all on the screen. So we're dealing with promises to pay. Everybody creating bonds, man. When you go study admiralty, this is what all this is operating under. You just don't know it because you ain't studied admiralty. You start studying admiralty, you'll see everything like, God damn, this is admiralty shit they doing. But you don't know that because you ain't studied admiralty. But you study admiralty, you be clear as day. You're like, damn, this is admiralty. They just ain't calling it that. That's why Howard Freeman, the UCC connection, which everybody on here should read. I did a damn video on it. That's why the reason I did a video, played music and everything, because that document is very important because he's explaining to you why they're hiding it from you. He's explaining it. They have to hide it. They don't want it coming out. They trading people on the stock market. They don't want it coming out there involved in slavery because that's all the prison system is. These are slave plantations. That's all they are. And the feds, you got Unicor, you got motherfuckers, they building shit. You go to work every motherfucking morning. You make $200 a month. Let me tell you something. You don't think that your labor's worth $200 more a month? You don't think they're getting more money than that off of you in prison? The other corporations already took Unicor to prison. Let me see about to court. Unicor, United States. Let's see, Unicor, plaintiff's appellate. Let me see, Unicor Incorporated, plaintiffs. Look at this, Unicor Incorporated. That's what you work at in prison, in federal prison. welding wire. I don't know if this is the one though. Company over unicorns, copyright, pandemic. I don't know. You know, you need to look it up. You can find it, but Unicorn, they couldn't compete with Unicorn because they got cheap labor. It's slave labor. That's why they're trying to arrest everybody, put everybody in the feds, man. That's why, you know, you'll be like, well, damn, you know, I ain't really do nothing. I wouldn't invite you. They're gonna lock your ass up too. You get caught in the conspiracy. They want everybody in there. They got the private prison system, okay, which is Correction Corporations of America. Correction Corporations of America. This is Core Civic. It might change their name now. When you look at this, they used to be a real estate investment trust. I think they changed it from that because they was investing in real estate. You all, man, when you get into this and see what they're doing, and you go over here to, if you go over here to SEC info, I'm giving y'all the information now because I don't want no motherfucker talking about, you know, oh, he making this shit up. All right, this secinfo.com, you put in private prison. All right, so you see Correction Properties Prison LLC, CCA Prison Realty Trust. You see that right there? All right. Now, when you get in here, you can read their 424B4 prospectus, which ain't nothing really but a trust indenture agreement. This is a trust, but they don't call it that. Remember, it's the thing in trust. A trust can be a trust even though they don't call it a trust. If you got to know that, it don't have to be called a trust to be a trust. So right here, you can see, like they'll say they won't call them beneficiaries, they'll call them entitlement holders. They use different language to hide it, to mask it. So right here, you have the 424 prospectus offering us the securities, and you can read this thing. Oh, I got to sign in. I'm glad it got back up. But you can read this, and it will tell you they get a per diem every day for every prison bed that is filled. They make money off of that. See, a lot of people be speculating about things that's going on with the prison system. But see, it's shit like this right here, I done already did the research years ago. I don't have to speculate on shit. And I'm showing you where to go and go look for yourself. Somebody gonna try to play me and say this ain't commercial. This ain't about making money. Everywhere I fucking looked, it was about making money. Core Civic is a private prison. They privatized the prison system. If you want to get some background on that, probably one of the best, the person who did the best research on it was Gene Keaton. I give him his flowers. It's called the, where is it at? Let me pull it up. See if I can pull it up. It's like, Gene Keating Prison Treatise. So you read this right here. This is where you find all this out. Right here, reading the Gene Keating Prison Treatise. He did all the research on it. This was my guide to do my research, how I knew where to look, how I started looking and finding out where to look. Because I don't like to deal with speculation. They put in liens on you. The reason you're doing a security, this is why I don't fuck with no goddamn nationality. This is why I don't fuck with all this other shit these niggas out here is doing. I don't fuck with none of that shit. Because I was in there, I'm reading indictments like we finna do right now, and I did the research on it. And I don't see none of this other shit they talking about, no goddamn where. The courts are operating under statute law. Statute is defined in Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, revised as a kind of bond or obligation of record, being an abbreviation for statute merchant. Now, statute merchant is another very interesting word. Let's look at that real quick. This is where they got it from. They got it from the statute merchant, because we're dealing with statutes, right? Watch how everything just fit together like a puzzle. And motherfucker will still sit there and tell you, well, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, motherfucker, it's like it's just a puzzle. Every time I look somewhere and get a piece, it just fits right in. Another piece to the puzzle. Right here. So you go to statute merchant. Read the prospectus. Get you an account. It's free over there at SEC Info. That's how I found out Donald Trump was worth $750 million liquid and $2 billion. And that's why when they put on that Family Guy where he got in a fight on that, you can look it up, and he said you're only about $750 million. That's how they knew. That's how I knew, because it says it right there. He don't own all that shit. Trump Towers, he don't own that. He leasing out his name. He don't own Trump Towers. There's some sort of investment organization that own that shit. This is how you find out shit. You go in here on the SEC website and you can read all this shit. It's public information. So right here, we go into statute merchant. Look, we talking about a statute and a merchant. One or two 13th century statutes establishing procedures to better secure and recover debts. Okay, ain't that what we talking about in OCGA 1711-1 with this lien, this 5A? They securing and recovering a debt by, among other things, providing for a commercial bond. Okay, if you get your federal paperwork, or if you go and get your docket sheet, especially if you got an old case, look on there and see if you can find commercial bond that got entered into the record. I done seen all of this. Providing for a commercial bond that, if not timely paid, resulted in swift execution of the lands, goods, and the body of the debtor. Well, that's what a 5A is. They putting a writ of execution on you, and the only property you got left is your labor. So you got to pay your debt to society. These statutes were repealed in 1863. Okay, those were the statute merchant, but that don't mean they stopped here since too. The commercial bond so established. What does that mean? That's what they're doing. It's a commercial bond. It is not a little remarkable that our common law knew no process whereby a man could pledge his body or liberty for the payment of a debt. Under Edward I, the tide turned. In the interest of commerce, a new form of security, the so-called statute merchant, was invented, which gave the creditor power to demand the seizure and imprisonment of his debtor's body. Ain't that what you looking at right there in OCGA 1711-1? Ain't that why we got to go over here in Louisiana? They say, okay, this shit don't matter. Right here in Louisiana, affidavit. Right here, I've been reading this stuff. It says, okay, Louisiana law, criminal procedure. Okay, corporate existence is presumed unless the affidavit of denial is filed before trial. So they have a right, if you don't put an affidavit that you're not a corporation, they're going to presume that you're a corporation. You're operating under, it's an unstated presumption. That's why you got to rebut the presumption. You dealing with statutes, man. That's all they deal with is companies and corporations. You go into the United States Code annotated, like 99% of the cases in there is commercial. On a trial by any criminal case, it shall not be necessary to prove the incorporation of any corporation mentioned in the indictment, unless the defendant, before entering upon such trial, shall have filed his affidavit specifically denying the existence of such corporation. What the fuck are they talking about? This is why in abatement in common law, the first document on there is an affidavit of denial of corporate existence. Right here. This is abatement in common law, and you got right here. What is this? Affidavit of denial of corporate existence. 1, Yusef, the live man, state of Texas, exempt hereinafter if found, declares and states that the following facts are true to the best of my knowledge and belief, and of which one has firsthand knowledge of the matter stated herein. 1, Yusef is of the age of majority and competent to testify on the matter stated herein. If any man or woman desires to answer this affidavit, please do so in the manner of this instrument. By notarized affidavit using your Christian or family name by signature and mailed to the below named notary. Address provided within 5 days or default will be obtained. Your handwritten signature only, do not type it out. And that's how you know ain't nobody trying to take no liability. Anytime anybody sends something from you in the public and ain't nobody signed it with a wet blue ink signature, they ain't for real. Because ain't nobody took no liability. They send you a dunning letter. Ain't nobody signed the motherfucker. Who liable? Affiant hereby denies that the following corporations exist in their capacity to sue or be sued as challenged by negative averment pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 9A. United States, aka the United States of America, the state of Georgia, the state of Texas, the county of Fulton, Fairburn City, all bar associations, United States District Court, all caps name, your all caps name and your address, all other corporate members who are or may be associated with any complaints against my natural body. That's why that's in here. Because they all operating off of presumptions, assumptions, and color of law, and they presuming that you're a corporate entity. Unless you put in something to rebut it, it's an unstated presumption. You can't rebut an unstated presumption. That's why you got to go in there and ask questions. I'm sorry, Yana. Look, man, I have to ask a question. I'll be more than happy to enter a plea for the defendant. But before we do that, Yana, it is my understanding that pursuant to the Sixth Amendment for the Constitution of the United States of America, I have a protected constitutional right, Sixth Amendment right to know the nature and cause of any action. For the record, sir, is that or is that not true? And then that's when they're going to start dancing. I don't got time for this and all that. And this is how they talk to you. And they public servants. Yana, we are bond with, this is something you say to them when they get too unruly. Yana, will your bond withstand the commercial liability that's being entered into this courtroom today? That's putting it on notice. I'll put a lien against your bond. Everything is about liens, man. Everything in this game is liens. Liens are the weapons. Liens are the weapons. All right. 1, Yusef has no contract with the state or federal governments which give equity jurisdiction to the courts. 1 has no bank account, no credit cards. This is why I say get you a CPN number or put everything in your business name. You don't need to be using that goddamn Social Security number. 1, Yusef, 1 has rescinded the government's Social Security number and any present or future benefits of that socialist system for religious conviction. It's a socialist system. What is it? It's SA 521. Request for withdrawal application. I got webinars on how to do that. Request for the withdrawal of application. It's the Social Security number, man. 1, Yusef has signed no international maritime agreement with the state of Georgia or federal governments, either intentionally, willingly, or knowingly, which would give admiralty or vice admiralty jurisdiction to the courts of either the state or local governments and does not voluntarily submit to any of those jurisdictions. 1, Yusef is subject only to the common law of the Republic State of Georgia. And I don't understand why they act like the Republic just went somewhere. Look, old bitch ass nigga. Okay, the Republic is the foundation of this country. They try to act like they do everything to make y'all think the common law is some bullshit, like common law marriage. Common law marriage is the real marriage, nigga. The fake marriage is that goddamn marriage license. That's what Satan does. He reverses everything backwards. Woe unto you, attorneys. You've been warned about this in the Bible. And they don't want you looking at the Bible. One of the pillars of socialism is the elimination of religion. That's why everybody's running around on the internet right now talking down on religion. They done inundated you with Netflix and Amazon Prime. That is some garbage. Nothing but feminist and socialist garbage. And that's what Adolf Hitler was pissed out. See, they want to make you think Adolf Hitler was just mad about, no, Adolf Hitler was mad at y'all because y'all introduced pornography into Germany. Y'all introduced homosexuality into Germany. You owned all the movie houses. You took over the government, even though it wasn't no 6 million people in there. The record shows there was only 500,000 of you, okay? And it was 60 million people in Germany. But even though it was only 500,000 of you, you own all the media like you do in the United States. You own all the pornography like you do in the United States. You own all the banking like you do in the United States. You own all the court system like you do in the United States. You occupying all the positions of power in government. This is what was happening. That's why he took over as a dictator and removed them. Now, that might sound anti-Semitic. But I got it from a Jewish guy. Don't get mad at me. The dude name is Benjamin Friedman. He's Jewish. He did a speech in 1961 at the Willard Hotel. This is where I got all my information from. I got all my information from Jews. I'm not making this up. You can also listen to Rabbi Finkelstein. That's how I found all this stuff. I wasn't looking for it. They were telling me where to look. They were telling me where to look. And I started looking. I'm like, damn, he was right. I don't hate nobody. But truth is truth. Truth is truth. Let's look at something real quick. And what happened to my I'll do that later. I don't want to go down that road too much. I ain't gonna go down that road too much because I'm amped up and I might say something that offends some people. But truth is truth. The truth, you cannot go against the truth. The truth wheels out. When you talk about truth, you're talking about God. When you go against the truth, you're going against God. And it ain't gonna last. I really don't understand how some people think that lying and misrepresenting the truth is going to last. How long do you think you'll get away with it? You can't get away with it forever. The truth is going to come out. It always does. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I was younger, I used to be a player. I used to be a player with ladies and everything. And I always had at least 5 women all the time. I just believed in it. I didn't believe if I had less than 5 women, I felt like I was slipping on something. I'm like, what's going on? So I was dating this girl one time, and this back when we were getting phone numbers. Wasn't no cell phones and all that. You had to get a girl's number and write it down. So I used to get girls' numbers, and I had this place in my apartment where I would hide the numbers and everything because I didn't want her going through my shit, finding the number. Man, she busted me every fucking time. And it would be in a way I would least expect. She'd be coming to me, why is this? I'm like, where the fuck you find that? I never got away with anything. And likewise, you women ain't gonna get away with nothing. It's gonna come out. It comes out. When you have integrity, that's how you relieve stress. By doing everything the right way. That's what life is all about. You go through this period where you try to do shit in the shortcut way. You try to be dishonest. You try to do all this stuff. And then after you get through getting kicked in the ass so much, that's why you have to take on the wisdom of older people, because we done got kicked in the ass. And I'm sitting there telling you the truth always comes out. I don't care how slick you think you are. When you steal something out of the store, it's called karma. It's called the universe abhors a vacuum. When you take something and you don't give compensation for it, the universe is going to take some sort of compensation from you in some equal amount. It might not be the exact same thing, but it's going to be something that the value is going to be the same. If you're out here fucking somebody's wife, okay, yeah, you might not never get married, but you're going to get, the universe is going to take something from your ass in equal value. You ain't escaped shit. Niggas on here talking about, I want to get married. Oh, I know how many of these women I done screwed, and I don't want. It don't matter. You might not. It might not be your wife. It might be a girlfriend. You gonna fall in love with somebody. You ain't immune from that shit. There's a woman out there that can get your ass. You don't get away with nothing. That's what the scales are for. It's called blind justice. The scales represent karma, balancement. Perfection is balancement. Not too far to the left, not too far to the right. Perfection is perfect balancement. That's perfection. When you have perfect balancement, that means things don't change And if you have perfect balancement in the body, you won't age. Where'd I get that from? I got that from Tahuti in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. He said the reason you age is because you're out of balancement. If you learn how to perfectly balance the body, you won't age. Now, I don't know how to do that, but that struck me as making so much sense. Change. If you want to escape change, you have to have perfect balancement. That's why there's no such thing as good and evil. It's really not. It's positive. It's two different poles of every situation. But you're looking to get into we used to call it Nuwapo. You're looking to get right there in the middle. Perfectly balance yourself. All right, let's get back, man. I don't want to get too far off track. I don't want to get too far off track. I was going to take y'all over there to BitChute and let you show this video where this dude is naming everybody in your government, how in the United States right now, 70% of our government offices are occupied by Jewish individuals who have a dual citizenship with Israel. That's why when they had the Republican debate, they spent an hour talking about Israel first. And you see all them puppets up there. We gonna stand by, ain't like they didn't put the interests of a whole nother country before they were so motherfucking disrespectful to their constituency, American people. They didn't even talk about our concerns. They talk about the concerns of a foreign power. And you gonna elect them motherfuckers? And Cynthia McKinney done told you what was up. Like I said, ain't nothing hitting. Let me get back. We riding tonight. Let's finish listening to this. We riding tonight.
Talk to the attorney.
You told me on the phone that you would do an interview with me, sir.
Right here, talk to the attorney.
He told us on the phone that he would do an interview with us.
If he doesn't want to do an interview,
Alfred is the elected mayor of Fenton, a small village of just 226 residents. Instead of having a traffic
I want y'all to see something. See how this guy Yogi Freeman, he said, clown as much as you can because you will be blocked soon. Okay. Since you saying that, okay, since I'm lying. I'm clowning, huh? I'm clowning. All right. Now I want y'all to go and research every name like I did because I don't understand what I'm getting blocked for. I'm telling the truth. What am I saying is not true? I'm telling the truth. All this can be verified. Ain't nothing I'm saying can't be verified. We had the Balfour Declaration of what was signed after World War I. I can run it down for you. I don't speak in speculation. Since he gonna do that, okay, we might well look at this then. Let's look at it then. Let's look at it. You're gonna be blocked soon. That's what they do. That's what they do. They like Voltaire said. He said, "You know who your master is when you see who you cannot critique." These are the only people in the world that if you say anything about them, they above reproach, they ain't did nothing negative, they perfect. And because they control the monetary system, the guys who own YouTube, they Jewish. He can do it, they Jewish. The guy who owns Mark Zuckerberg, Jewish. He owns Facebook and Instagram. They own Google and YouTube. They got just about everything on lock. He ain't lying. He ain't lying, but y'all need to understand that. Let's look at this right here. Oh, I want y'all to get on my email list below this video. Get on my email list. Get on my email list below this video right now. Get on my email list. I put the link to my email list below, and that's why I put it up there. It's right there right now because I knew. I said, okay, I gotta make sure I have some kind of way that y'all can still contact me. I might have to put it on my website or something like that, because when you're telling the truth, when I'm a soldier for the truth, hey, you're gonna come up against a lot of opposition. You're gonna come up against a lot of opposition. So right here, if we go down here, and you can see this right here. Listen, let's just listen to this real quick. 'Cause I want y'all to see something. This is what I'm saying. 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 This is what I'm saying.
Victoria,
Shut the fuck
no, I gotta
up.
keep on going.
What the fuck are you talking
You're the only
about?
person that's willing to come up here and say
No, I'm saying something because
Amanda.
I didn't even know what the fuck you're talking about. It's fucked up.
I know
What's
they
all
run the world. I can't
Oh,
help
okay.
it.
Okay.
Do you
You
believe
know
in God,
what?
yes or no?
Fuck no.
Okay, babe.
Because there's no God
Okay,
and you
I
are
hear you.
fucked up.
No. I love you. And
No, you're.
Okay, you hear when they say there's no God? Okay, that's a part of they platform. You'll see it in everything. Feminists, the LGBTQ, all of that. That's one of the pillars. When you read the Communist Manifesto, they have to get rid of religion. See, you cannot have something the only person that you're going to look to is them. They gonna become your God. Because that's what a heathen is. That's what in Leviticus 25:45 it tells you. They can make slaves of the heathen about them. They can make slaves of you. So they got to make you into a heathen first. That's why you see in the Sukianas, the sexy reds, all the strippers and everything, they turning our women into straight hoes. Straight hoes. They own the record industry. Why are y'all doing that to us? Why are you putting us out there like that? Why our music is so trash? You think that's what we like? When our music started off, it was very wholesome music, even rap music. It was very entertaining. Without cursing. And definitely without all the sex added into it. But why is that? Because when you expel your vital energy, you don't have any power. You're vital. They want you masturbating. They want you out there masturbating. You don't have any vital energy. You can't manifest anything without a vital energy. If you're masturbating and doing all that stuff, you're using vital energy. Research what I'm saying. Research what I'm saying. Come back and tell me if I'm lying. Pascal Beverly, he put out a book in the early 1800s. He was a Rosicrucian. And it was called A Book for All Young Men. I got it on my website. I'm going to put it on the PDF download. But what it was is he was telling everybody that he said that, what is it called? Aneurysm. I forgot the word from it, but it's masturbation is the worst thing you can do to yourself. So what's happening is when you're impotent, you done jacked off too much. You got to go 6 months without ejaculating and it'll restore the body. It's going to take about 6 months. But you done exhausted all your vital energy. So you got to let your vital energy accumulate. That's why the book, as long as you want, whenever you want, you got to find out what your age is. The older you get, the longer it takes for you to recoup your vital energy. Young men recoup their vital energy like within a 24 to 72 hour period. Older men, such as myself, it take about 8 to 10 days to get all your vital energy back once you orgasm. You got to know all of these things. This is the game that's being played against. It's a purpose. It's a reason for everything. Ain't nobody doing stuff just because they don't like you or something like that. No, somebody's trying to rule the world, man. And to put you in an inferior position, they got to keep you in a state of ignorance. You call it sex magic, but sex is the foundation of all magic. It's called, I don't even like the word sex magic. I just like sex is that vital energy is needed to do what you call magic. It's needed for any kind of magic, not just sex magic. Aleister Crowley, he was in it real time. Aleister Crowley wasn't as evil as, they say, this is what they do too, to keep you away from information. They demonize people. They call Aleister Crowley the wickedest man alive. I read his shit. I didn't see that. He was with the Golden Dawn. He was very, very intelligent. The Thelema, do what I will. And so when you see like Jay-Z, all of them know this. They know what I'm talking about. That's why they don't give a fuck when y'all be talking and say, oh, they worship the devil. They know what the Baphomet really stands for. They done elevated above you. You still believe in good and evil. They ain't keeping you when everything come from God. Everything come from the one. There ain't no two powers in the universe. There's only one. Satan was an angel. And he had to come to God to get permission. He don't do what the fuck he want to do.
That's why I like that Netflix show Lucifer, because it lets you know that. A lot of people are like, but Lucifer, that Netflix show, it showed you the real deal. Lucifer ain't like, hey, you know, the other angels, he over hell, but everybody had to answer to God. It's a good show, too. Religion don't keep you in no box. Religion keep you in a box because y'all motherfuckers don't read. The only person think religion keep you in a box, person don't read. 90% of y'all don't even read the Bible. Don't tell me about religion keeping you in a box unless you can sit here and spit off verses, because when you read it, you can see that it's based off principles, universal principles. Religion, this man-made interpretation of the Bible may be keeping you into a box. Go listen to Reverend Ike. He telling the truth. Whether you love the person or not, empty sex is taxing on the soul, thus it begets the void bereft. It is. It is the elixir. You like people, what they don't tell you is they teach you about this manifestation, but what they leave out parts to it. They don't give you the whole story. They don't give you the story that you need to clean the body. They don't give you the story that you need to retain your semen. You know, they ain't telling you all the other little intricate parts and nuances of manifestation that you need to do. They just give you a little bit. When they did Think and Grow Rich, they had a whole bunch of stuff taken out of Think and Grow Rich. That's why they had the 16 laws of success, all the wealthy, powerful people. And one of them was Henry Ford. He wanted that shit taken out. He's like, nah, don't give it to them. They don't want no competition. I'm sitting here reading the Rockefeller letters right now. Man, Rockefeller, well, I don't see him as no evil person. I don't see Rockefeller as, he wrote letters to his son reading his memoirs. He was a God-fearing man. How the good book started, wisdom, however, once it got tampered with, edited, a new version, got to be able to discern it. Well, you got to know the language. It wasn't written in English. That's how you know, get your Strong's Concordance. That's what you do. Why are you depending on somebody else to interpret it for you? That shit wasn't written in English. None of it. Let's get back. I lost my place. I wanted to go in, go over to my bed shoe, listen to this dude talk about, I'll put the link down under the video. He's sitting there, he reading it off to everybody. He's sitting there, okay, he said, we didn't already research this. He said, these are the people, but that's why they're doing so much for Israel. And I've been researching this for like 5 years. It's like, I'd be amazed, it'd be scaring me. They have so many of the offices of power occupied. It made me kind of nervous. I'm like, damn, these people that took over the government. But they're walking around, you looking at them as white people. So that's why you don't see it. Because you know, these white people, that's ignorance. You's the ignorant nigga if that's how you think. You the worst kind. I cannot deem you intelligent at all. At all. If that's how you think everything is just white and black. Can I get some likes? We got 516 people. Can I get some likes? Can I get some likes? Can I get 400 likes? Can I get some donations? Can I get some donations? Everybody that come to my channel, they broke. I got $57. I'm giving y'all all this fire. And I am a capitalist. I don't hide that fact because capitalism comes from God. Everything is about equal exchange. What are you giving me back? I'm giving to y'all right now. What you giving me back? What you giving me back? We're going to continue in a minute. Get some likes up. Get them likes up. Give me some likes or something. You ain't got no money, give me a like. Get up to 400, and I'm going to continue. Okay, I'm not talking about you if you already liked it. We got 517, we got 511 people in here. I'm looking at, I get at least 400 likes. At least 400. I'm not asking for 500. You know, some people just ain't gonna press like no way. They just ain't gonna do it. It's just something in their soul, you know, because it might be that they don't like me, but it's something about me they gotta listen to me. They say, this motherfucker is a threat. Because if I wasn't, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be listening to me. And they'd be like, and I'm talking about Zionists. Let me clarify. I ain't talking about all Jews. I'm talking about Zionists. I'm talking about the people who think that they are the chosen people and that they are the master race. That's who I'm talking about. Not all Jews think like that. But Zionists are Jewish. And they are occupying, probably, I say about 60, 70% of the offices in government right now. All the major offices. Go and research it for yourself. All right, so let's let me go back. Y'all see this right here, $57. Let's get back.
Municipal court, the law allows Fenton to have mayor's court, where the mayor acts as judge, jury, and even appoints his own prosecutor.
I mean, you have the mayor as the decision maker, essentially the judge. And the results of those decisions, which are minor municipal offenses only, but they're criminal in nature, and they result in the assessment of fines that go to the city, of which the mayor is the chief administrative officer.
Mayor is an administrative officer. They told you a lot. They talking about it's criminal in nature, okay? And he don't even have no law degree. But see, that go on all over. I don't know why they try to act like it's just happening here. I lived in California. You get a traffic ticket in California, you go to court, this commissioner sitting up there on the bench. Ain't no judge. What you talking about? They doing it everywhere. They doing it everywhere.
Conflict of interest is so patently obvious, not to mention the fact that the mayor doesn't have to be a lawyer.
A 1972 United States Supreme Court ruling says defendants' rights are violated if a mayor sits on the bench, is responsible for town finances, and if the court accounts for a substantial share of the town's revenue. So how much is substantial? A court in Ohio says 10%. The Louisiana Judicial College uses that same threshold. Again, Fenton makes more than 90% of its annual revenue from court.
This is a perfect example of why it's unfair and exactly why they have it. This is a revenue generating mechanism. It's not about justice. It's not about efficiency. It's not about fairness. It's about making money.
Tulane Emeritus Law Professor Joel Friedman says this audio recording proves his point.
On black. Why I won't traffic tickets. I talked to you yesterday.
At a September meeting with some town employees, the mayor complained police weren't writing enough tickets. That's despite records showing officers wrote an average of about 16 tickets per day for a town of just 226 people. And those tickets help bring the town lots of money. The $1.3 million from fines and fees helped make Fenton's budget about 5 times as high as towns with similar populations.
Our main income is traffic ticket, and they ain't getting written. So that's not no good thing right there.
One person in the meeting and another town employee identified the person speaking as the mayor. Both asked not to be identified because they fear retribution.
They could do whatever they want, and nobody's going to say anything about it. It's brash, it's arrogant, it's blatant.
This court and others like it in Louisiana has little oversight from the state, and legal experts say that allows for the potential of abuse. In Fenton, public records suggest a driver's attitude may play into whether or not they get a break when they come to court. We found tickets and court records that noted bad attitude, very bad attitude, do not help, and do not fix, and refused phone number, driver was very disrespectful, no help. While Mayor Alford presides over the court, which is allowed by law, he doesn't have a law degree, and we couldn't find evidence he graduated from college. On social media, the mayor says he attended McNeese State University. The school says he enrolled for 1 semester and never graduated. The mayor hasn't told us if he attended any other schools. Mayors are not required to hold a degree or license to preside over court, but must complete annual training by the Louisiana Judicial College. Town Attorney Mike Holmes told us Mayor Alford has completed all mandatory training required, but records obtained from the state show Alford only submitted those documents to the state in late October, after we started asking questions.
For a judge not to have legal training is beyond my comprehension. I can't imagine a system anywhere else that has such a thing.
The training video urges mayors like Alfred to leave the bench if their revenue from court is above 10%.
Okay, hear that bullshit. Because these are administrators. They don't have to have training. They have to follow instructions. They follow a script. That's why he can do it. Ain't nothing gonna happen to this man. He know what he doing. He ain't scared of them. He ain't scared of them. He know what's going on. He understands perfectly what's going on. These are administrative law judges. They have a ministerial duty to perform. They don't need skill. They don't have no discretion, none of that. They have limited discretion. They follow instructions. That's why when you say something to them, they say, well, you need to talk to your state legislature about that. You going against devils. Y'all better understand something. Let me tell you something, man. Babylon the Great has has become the habitation of devils, like it said in Revelations 18:2. I used to wonder about all this stuff I would read in the Bible, and I'm like, man, is this real? But man, now I'm older and wiser and more knowledgeable. I'm seeing how it's playing out. I understand what a devil is. You know, they get your mind, like when you hear devil, you think of horns, pitchforks, and all. That's not a devil. A devil is that girl that is on Instagram that's saying that she want to teach elementary school kids about pornography. That's a devil. A devil is telling you God don't exist. A devil tell you can identify whatever you want to be identified as. These are devils. Call them what they are. These demons. All right, and when we got the internet, they can operate even more effectively because now they can put up fake profiles, hide behind fake profiles. You don't know these motherfuckers sitting behind you don't know who they are. You go to their profile, you don't have an inkling of who they are. These demons. But you can't identify a demon when you don't know the truth. Demons are subtle. They lie. Man, you don't need that. What is that, Nick? What is Yusef over there talking about? Man, that's bullshit. This ain't commercial. That's a sovereign citizen mumbo jumbo shit. He's out of his damn mind. You can take that in court, you're gonna get fucked up. Didn't happen to me like that. Only way you would get somebody fucked up is you run over them. You don't let them talk. They got this thing called the sovereign citizen. Let me show y'all something. Now, they have meetings quarterly about stuff. All right, so this is Anti-Defamation League. So now, what I want you to see right here, okay, this is the Anti-Defamation League, Jewish. So I put this in, and this will come up because they don't like sovereignty because they are communists. So for you to start saying that you are sovereign, it spits in the face of communism, socialism, and Marxism. So they don't want none of y'all calling yourself sovereign. So they're going to make fun of it. They demonize it. Oh, that's a they done made up a word, sovereign citizen. You can't find that shit. No, what the fuck is a sovereign citizen, nigga? Sovereign citizen, what the fuck is that? Chisholm versus Georgia say we sovereigns. Ain't no fucking sovereign citizen. So they call you something that you ain't got no legal protection. They identify you as something. Oh, you anti-Semitic. They put a label on you. Look at this right here. They got the Sovereign Citizen Handbook. Now, this handbook is real interesting. Let me see where it's at. This might be it right here. Sovereign Citizen Handbook.
It ain't right here though. I got it on my website. Try to see if it this Sovereign Citizen Handbook, what this is. Where is it at? Let me see. Let me put .pdf up here. Oh no, it's that same. You need a license. Okay, I don't want no license. And that's another thing, man. All the stuff that used to be easy to find on the internet, man, it's like, you know, if you've been doing this as long as I have, it's amazing how much stuff you can't find anymore. That's why that was the main reason I started SBC University, because I started seeing like, damn, they scrubbing the internet. They don't want nobody to have no access, no knowledge. So I started downloading everything. Every time I find something, I instantly download it. I learned from that. I said, let me download it. So obviously the reason response. Where is that thing? That handbook is good. It's real good because, no, that ain't it. Let me try. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on, y'all. I gotta pull this up. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Because I want to show y'all this, because this is like, trying to give y'all as much information as y'all can. Because y'all gotta know. Y'all gotta know everything. You gotta know everything. You gotta know everything that's happening. You know, you gotta know everything. You gotta know everything. Because they're gonna demonize me. Trust that. They're gonna demonize me. They're gonna demonize me. But what they can't do is tell you what you see, that your eyes is lying to you. They can't do that. They can't tell your eyes is lying. Like, well, what are you talking about? I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at it right here, man. Damn, man, what happened? Let's see. Oh, it's in here. It's right here. Oh, shoot. Man, let me get back. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna look for while I'm playing this. Y'all keep watching. This.
So what you'll want to do is go back and look to see what percentage of your annual budget constitutes the fines that are derived from mayor's court. If it's over 10%, then I would highly recommend that the mayor ask the city council, the board of aldermen, to appoint a magistrate. Because if you're a mayor and you're handling mayor's court, you can be in a bind. And so if you're doing that, you can be held that you're violating people's constitutional rights.
After agreeing to an interview with us, Alfred never showed up, so we went back to Fenton in September.
I'm trying to ask a mayor, a public official, about an interview that he told us he would give us.
In regards
to mayor's court and Fenton and the police and everything.
To the video that's on the video system. We never said nothing about anything else.
You told me that you would do an on-camera interview the day of the last mayor's court, and then you weren't here, sir. That's a fact.
According to our review, Fenton has the highest percentage of revenue from fines and forfeitures of any town in the entire state, but it's far from the only place with a mayor's court. The state has about 250, many in small cities and towns, including some just outside of New Orleans, like Kenner, Gretna, Golden Meadow, and West Wego. Most of these courts in our area have magistrates with law degrees acting as the judge appointed by the mayor. But we found at least 10 towns across the state that have a mayor serving as judge while collecting more than 10% of their revenue in mayor's court, which would violate the Supreme Court's ruling.
They ain't saying they can't be judged. They just can't collect more than 10%. You notice that? Let me show y'all something. All right, this right here, I put up the wrong name. It's called the Anti-Government Movement Book. That's why I couldn't find it. It's the Anti-Government Movement Book. Now, these people, they have meetings and they study how to handle you in court. Okay? This is why I say you got to study this and you got to know the information, because you got to be able to think on your feet on the fly. Because that shit where you just regurgitate something off the top of your head, they got something for you. All right? You got to understand. So challenging subject matter jurisdiction, 32. Gold friends. Let's look at this right here. So on page 32, this is what they read now. This is what they reading. So on page 32, decline and resurgence. They talking about when it declined and it resurged. I mean, this thing, it's just interesting to really see how to read this. And what you're going to see is they ain't going to deny anything. They just going to say, they just constantly tell you what you believe. This is what they believe, but they ain't trying to counteract it with nothing. Defiant, the Freeman escalated from frivolous lawsuits to bogus liens to common law courts and arrest warrants. In September 1995, the Freeman, these are Montana Freeman. I didn't even know the Montana Freeman was this group. The gentleman, he got a channel. He watched my channel. He was a part of that group, and he was telling everybody what really went down. You know, put some, if you watching, put your link and everything, you know, in the comment section, and I'll pin it. Common law and uncommon law courts, an overview of the common law court movement. The verdict of the county court was predictable. Caught driving without a license or proof of insurance. Sherry Skotka received a $350 fine from King County, Texas. No, we always talking about they trying to get some money from you. Everything in their system is about you punished with money. You punished with money. That's why these secure party creditor process was put in, because there ain't no money. Everything is debt instruments, and you protect yourself in a commercial system through liens, through the liening process. That's why, you know what? They don't want you to file no UCC1. But here's the question. Why you care? Ain't nobody name on it but mine. I ain't hurting nobody. If you telling me it's frivolous, it don't have no basis in law and fact, why the fuck you care? Take my $20 or $30, file the shit, and just laugh at me. Why y'all been on this all-out crusade to stop people from filing UCC1s? When the only thing on there is an all cap, then you gonna say, well, you filing it against yourself. Nigga, you see that's an all caps name and a Christian appellation of the name? Trying to play dumb. The appeals court did not look up on her request with favor, noting that she could not even show that the common law courts of the United States existed, which, if you go and study the clerk's practices, it tell you in there clear as day. It gives you a historical background of all of this, the clerk's practices. Let's see if I pull it up. So you got to study the history of this thing. It's on script. Let me see if I get it right here. You got to get the history of this thing to understand what is going on today. The clerk's practice, the historical background, explains what was happening in England, how the common law courts and the admiralty courts were vying with each other. And it's just like this gentleman is right here. He have his own court. Back then, everybody had their own court because they were their own sovereigns. Like a baron, he was a sovereign over his whatever his land was. They were landowners. So if you came on his land, he had his own court for his land. Now, everybody was subject to the king's court, the chancery court, but the admiral, he had his own court. The barons had their own court. Everybody wanted to have their own court. Introduction to the law merchant. The download. So when you read this right here, treaties, oh, that's something else, man. That ain't the damn clerk's practice. Oh, here it is, clerk's practice. I don't know who this is, got all this on here like this. So this is the clerk's practice right here. So when you read this, I took about 6 weeks to read this, looked up every word in it, looked up every single word in it. Took me about 6 weeks. It's 3 parts. An historical examination of the civil jurisdiction of the Court of Admiralty, a translation of clerk's practice with notes on the jurisdiction and practice of the district courts. All right. And you get in here, it tell you how, you know, how they think, you know, admiralty is a law of the sea. It don't have to do nothing to do with the sea. It has something to do with the subject matter, which is commerce. All right. They get into the discussion about all of that in here. All right. So the admiralty jurisdiction of the United States, let's see.
the history of this thing. So that tell the history of it, courts of admiralty. I want to show you where it talks about these judges. And then I want you to think about this video that we're watching right now. I want you to understand material men, when in the Constitution it talks about they can charge you for labor and things, you'll start to see, okay, he's talking about maritime contracts, which is a secret lien. But like a maritime lien is a secret lien. That's what they're really putting on you. It's like a maritime lien. So right here you can see, but those articles in the subsequent reigns were not executed with good faith any more than the similar ones which were as solemnly agreed to in the 8th year of Charles I. The judges evaded them by subterfuges which were unworthy of the dignity of the bench and did not observe them longer than they were constrained by the weight of royal authority. And he's talking about a royal authority made an edict that they had to find, but they tried to get away from it. It says, so useful, however, were they considered to be to trade and commerce that the Republican Parliament enacted them in substance by an ordinance of the 12th of April, 1648. But at the Restoration, the ordinance ceased to be in force, and the common law judges began again to annoy the admiralty courts with prohibitions they had formerly done. Now, I wanted to read that part to you because this was very enlightening to me, how the admiralty courts and the common law courts been vying for power for centuries. For centuries. I didn't really understand it until I started reading this right here. So this judge, he said, right, you didn't show no proof that common law courts exist. That's why you got to read stuff like this so you can understand what's going on. Make sure that you sign up. Let me get back to this video. Read the clerk's practice because we got a lot of ground to cover. Read the clerk's practice. I ain't gonna read y'all can watch this video on your own. I just wanted y'all to understand that, because I was going to show you the judges slush fund next. Yeah, let me show you that. Let me show you the judges slush fund. I got to show you that. Now this judges slush fund, what this is Dr. Shirley. I forgot her last name. Dr. Shirley Moore, that's her name. All right, she did a research on this. Now you can see this Los Angeles Courthouse Corporation. They're going to keep telling you it ain't about corporations, it ain't commercial, every fucking where I look. Like that dude who called in, that attorney, been attorney 40 years, came in, called in on my show. As soon as I go over there and look at his damn case, he in there arguing. The judge told him, show me something that's has not been something commercial. He sat there and said, Scalia.
Okay, Shirley, we're looking at this. It's addressed to John Andes. What's important do we notice here?
Okay, first of all, we're talking about the Courthouse Corporation. And if you notice, Farrell happens to be a judge. Right here, we're talking about the Courthouse Corporation. The same thing you'll see, that it is a private corporation.
The courthouse is a private corporation.
It's a private corporation.
This is dated 1985.
Right, but it's been going on since 1984. So it is a private corporation, and this is where they float bonds, building courthouses without the approval of the citizens.
These are all the different courthouses and the amount of money. There was no citizen approval for all these.
And here's the bonds that they've been floating, right here. This is one of the bonds that they floated. But I would
The obligation of the county to pay base rental payments does not constitute
In other
Toot.
words, what they do, they build these courthouses and then they pay rent on the same courthouse that they just built. And this is showing the payment schedule on this courthouse. And here
Whoa. We're talking millions and millions of dollars a year in rental payment.
and rental payments. Wait a minute.
You heard. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting mixed up. You heard her earlier talking about they floating bonds. All this is about bonds. She got a freedom of information. This lady did some hella research, man. I was really concerned about her safety after watching this. This is a 2-part video. It's called the Judges Slush Fund. I'm not gonna go through the whole entire thing, but she show you how they doing with these courthouses. How the whole game is laid down. It's all commercial. These are private trading companies. They trying to act like they not. A court is a bank, man. They making money. They dealing in banking. They creating bonds, negotiable instruments. They monetizing things. And then they want to sit there when you come in with a GSA bond or some sort of bond, they want to try to act like they don't know what you're doing, but they doing this every day. They monetize the negotiable instruments every day. I showed you the court registry investment system. They floating, they doing all kind of things, man. You really got, read the SEC info, Judges Slush Fund, Clerks Praxis, couple of stats. When you start reading all that stuff like I have, you can't help but come to one conclusion. It's all commercial. The next thing you have to come to is, well, who is the creator of all of this? And we know that the Federal Reserve System is created by the Jews. They created all of this. They created interest in all of this. They created it. I really don't believe the secure party process was ever meant to be put in our hands. I think it just fell. Somebody told me years ago that it was a disgruntled judge that let the cat out the bag and told people about it. That's like an urban legend. But I look at it, it's very sophisticated. It all makes sense to me. How they get you, they get you wondering, is it real? And it ain't no money though. They don't got no Federal Reserve notes, ain't money. Those are promissory notes. They got you used to living in a fiction and thinking that it's real. And then when you try to come out of it, they start calling you crazy. See, the one thing you gotta learn is the tactic that they use to denounce you, label you as something, just everything. Their whole system is built around that. It's been around threat, duress, and intimidation. Money is being used as a penalty. How they destroy you is they mess up your money. They mess up your money. All right. Everything revolves around that. Everything revolves around that. I'm trying to tell you. And you'll see it too. I'm doing this because I know I won't be around a lot longer. I'm going to get this currency circulator up and I'm going to concentrate on that. Because I think for you to get free, y'all going to need some money and you're going to have to work together. All this separate shit that you're doing, it ain't working, man. Y'all need to go over to the currency circulator right now. Just sign up. Just sign up. Get everybody in your family, all of that. Just do it one time. Just sign up. I promise you, if y'all trust me, I'm going to make sure that I deliver on my promise. I'm that kind of person. I'm going to deliver on my promise. I'm just stepping out on faith right now, just doing things. But I understand that y'all got mortgages and car notes and credit card bills and everything. The only way you're going to get all of that away from all that is you got to depend on each other. You got to depend on each other, man. You got to come together as a collective. And the only thing you can come together on is money. So I put together a system where you can make money and invest and learn about investment and corporation creation and all of that. It's hard for one man. I'm one man, y'all. I built the website. I do the consultations. I take phone calls. I correct accounts. I come on and do live streams. I edit videos. I'm one man, man. I'm doing all of this shit, man. I know y'all get frustrated with me sometime, but please just be patient. I'm one person. And I'm getting older now, man. I'm getting older. I'm right now fasting and, and trying to get this weight up off of me and everything. I'm like, I'm so serious about losing this weight because I know that your health is a major part of success, is that you have to master yourself. And I've mastered almost every other aspect of my life except that. And I mastered that at one time, but I got to master that too. I look like a hypocrite sitting here talking to y'all sometimes and my ass is sitting here overweight. But it's something in the food. It's something going on, but it's hard for me to, I'm getting into, like, the first thing I stopped was alcohol, then I stopped eating after 6. I'm doing everything in stages. Now I'm trying to get up every morning and, do 20,000 steps, all those things. You got to organize my life and have my life. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had a very good motivational speech where he said every hour of his day was scheduled from sun up to sundown. He moved from one thing to the next. And he achieved every goal he set out to do, even being governor of California. That's one of the best motivational speeches, man. That Arnold Schwarzenegger speech. You can Google that on the internet, man. That's a very, very, very good speech for you to listen to. And I'm sitting over here talking about a lot of these things, but how it's going to, and I can sit here and say, the Jews did it, and all of this kind of stuff, but that don't mean shit. It don't mean anything. What means something is you stop allowing people to influence you into immorality. That's my number one thing, because you are dishonoring the creator of the boundless universe. What makes you a sovereign and the laws that you abide by are the laws of God. However you see him to be. That's why I talk about the Kabbalion, because we're talking about now. I don't really talk about those 613 laws in the Torah. That's not really the laws. The laws are the natural laws. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. That reverberates through everything in creation. That's the foundation. You master that, then you can branch out into other subject matter. But if you're going to call yourself a sovereign, you got to know God's laws. Because if you don't know God's laws, then you have to be governed. It's just like he said. He said, if a heathen can be made into a slave. And I find it real strange. It's right here, man. It don't matter what you believe in. It's their book. The Jews follow the Torah and the Talmud. All right, so fuck what you believe. You ain't running shit. I really don't care what you believe. You don't own no property. You don't own the financial system. You don't own no manufacturing. You don't own no distribution. Why in the fuck would I care about what the fuck you think, what you don't believe in? I don't give a fuck what you believe in. You ain't in control of shit. I don't even care if they're not the real Jews. You sound foolish saying that. Oh, they're not the real. You sound like a dumb motherfucker. So what does that have to do with them being in control of everything? They ain't the real Jews. You see how they think? They don't have no right reason and right knowledge. They can't wait to say, oh, well, they're not the real Jews anyway. So what the fuck? I don't care who they are. They in control. Call them Ashkenazi, Khazars from Russia, whatever you want. I don't care. You don't have no power. I forgot what I was going to look up. Let me get to this review of these indictments, because I know that's what y'all came to see. Let me do these indictments, man. I done went all over the damn place. All right, well, here's the first one right here. I think this is Young Thug's indictment. Let's look at this first. Let's find out if this is civil or not. Let me pull this out. What are you doing, man? That ain't it. Where is that? All right, so here's the Young Thug indictment, all right? Young Thug indictment. All right, now they gonna try to they gonna tell you, I be watching other attorneys, people be sending me links, what attorneys think about sovereign citizen ideology. I don't really give a fuck what the attorneys think. I really don't. They ain't nobody. They ain't got no power. They don't draft no laws. Are you gonna sit here and actually have the temerity, the unmitigated gall to sit here and say that attorneys really help people in criminal cases? Can you say that with a straight face? When you go, if you got a criminal case, go in there and ask them some of the things I'm saying. Say, sir, before I hire you, can you help me with this? How many cases have you won? Or how many cases have you played out? I'm giving you this $20,000, $30,000. How many cases have you played out? What is the percentage? If you're going to plead me out, why in the fuck would you pay an attorney to plead out? I don't know. Now, some people will tell you, well, you know, my attorney negotiated a good plea deal with me. Nigga, you gave them that money, they split it up. That's called bribery. Man, y'all need to wake the fuck up. Let's look at this right quick, man. I'm tired of this, man. I've been doing this too many years. That's why I'm speaking the way that I am. Because I'm tired of this, man. I ain't got time to hold my tongue and say things. I just got to hit you with the truth. I just got to hit you with the truth. All right, so right here, conspiracy to violate the racketeer influence and corrupt organization. So they got a RICO charge. So you can see all these guys, Bally, Tootie, B, they got, you know, these young boys, they got some different kind of motherfucking slang names, different from my generation. Doo-Wop, Polo and Juicy, Brees, Slado, Lil Mile. Somebody go get Young Thug, tell him to watch this. Go get Young Thug, tell him to watch this. I'm looking at your indictment, bro. All right, so I think he down here. Yeah, his name is Jeffrey Williams. Young Thug, AKA Slime. I had a homeboy named Slime. You know, he was in the feds and everything. He just got hit with another federal charge. Boy came out, did 8 years in federal prison, came out, started fucking with that heroin, just got a life sentence and everything. Man, why is y'all fuck, man? Listen, man, if you do 8 years in federal prison and you come out and you get right back to the shit you was doing, listen, man, that's why when you in there, you got to prepare to come out. You got to prepare to come out, man. You want to come out and get these people. You know, the one thing I will say about the feds don't make idle threats and they don't fuck around. They ain't nothing like the state. What they do is they get y'all used to them state courts. You know, you be selling the drugs on the corner, and you get arrested, you get out of jail, you get arrested, you get out of jail. What's happening on the federal level, that's going to be your criminal history. And there's points. Every time you get arrested and you plead guilty, when they get you with that fed, next thing you know, the feds get you, they don't even have to get you with a lot of dope. And you be wondering, man, how I get 30 years? And then the shit I'm saying, you don't believe it. You don't, I understand you don't believe it. They bust you in your motherfucking head. And you sitting here selling drugs. I'm looking on the internet and these young girls talking about they only want to date a scammer and a drug boy. And you hearing that shit and you think you got to be a scammer and a drug boy and all that bitch is doing is sending you to prison. Fuck that hoe, nigga. She gonna be fucking somebody else when you're in prison. And that's going to be the last woman you're going to be thinking about because that's the last woman you're going to see because you ain't going to see another one. And you're going to be calling her wondering why she don't come and see you. All because you know a woman to send you to prison. They want them bags and that jewelry and all that shit. You got to go out in a $2,500 bag, $4,000 bag, and you ain't no legitimate businessman, and you want to get this shit for her. You got to do something underhanded. She's sending you to prison, nigga. A U.S. Marshal told me that they got a backlog of 2 years for these indictments. 2 years, because that's how many people they got. They got a contract with the private prison industry to keep the beds at 100% occupancy. The only reason they ain't brought you to court because they got to have somebody empty out some beds. It's too many indictments versus bed space they got available. They ain't got enough bed space. So at the beginning of every year, you're going to see they come in and start rounding everybody up. That's when you see niggas start disappearing off the street around August, September, and then they start bringing their ass in around January, first quarter or something like that. They got a system, man. Don't fuck with these people. I respect what the feds do. Feds ain't no joke. I don't never want to contend with these people again. I pay my taxes. They can't find nothing on me. They had to make up some shit on me. They don't have to make up some shit on me. You don't want to get these people in your life. It's going to take you a long time to get them out your life. And it's going to take you about 3 years to learn this information I'm saying right here. And that's just going to make you functionally literate. You ain't going to be a master of it in 3 years. So let's look at this. I don't see nothing signed, district attorney. Here go your counts. Grand juries have for said in the name and on behalf of the citizens of Georgia do charge the accused. So let me go down here. What I like to do, I like to go down here and I like to see if, I like to look all through the paper. These are counts and everything. If there's an indictment, I'll be looking for, the first thing I look at is see if the grand jury foreman signed it. That's the first thing I look for. Because you'll be surprised how many indictments ain't signed by no grand jury. Or it has an illegible signature right there on the line. Like, what the fuck? You know why? Because a guilty plea kills all known and unknown defenses. If they can get you to plead guilty, you said yourself was guilty. It don't matter if the paperwork was faulty. It don't matter if they lied, made up shit on you or nothing like that. You said you was guilty, nigga. A guilty plea kills all known and unknown defenses. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Crimes and offenses. Wait a minute, let me put Georgia in here. All right, Georgia Code, reading of the indictment. And then if it plays and pleads guilty. Defensive law amendments, video, murder, malice. I used to be able to find it real quick. Google it. Just Google it. Guilty plea kills all known. I found it in the law library. It's in here. You can find it. I don't take up too much of my time. But a guilty plea, the reason they want you to plead guilty because that protects them removes all liability. It removes all liability. So they 95%, 98% of the people pleading guilty. They said if only 15% more of the people took shit to trial, you would shut down their court system. Only 15%. That's why they make it the punishment real harsh for you to take them to trial because they don't want y'all doing that. So they give you a guilty plea, we'll give you 5 years, you take it to trial, we'll give you 40. Let's look at this real quick. Let's look at this. Let me see if I can get up here. They got all type of shit. This is the docket sheet right here. This is what you're looking at right here. This is the docket sheet. All right, so you hear me talking about the docket sheet all the time. This is the docket sheet. And they tell what happened on the court. This is why you want to get your docket sheet. Defendant Jimmy Winfrey, it'll tell what's been filed on the case. Get used to looking at your docket sheet. If you want to keep track of what's going on your case, you ain't got to talk to the attorney. You find out what that on the further conspiracy, scope of the conduct. Well, no, that's not a docket sheet. I'm sorry. I thought it was a docket sheet. No, that's just a timeline. I apologize. That's a timeline. That's not a docket sheet. But that's how a docket sheet look, though. It looks something like that. Where am I getting? Wait a minute, hold on. Is this oh, this is not a federal indictment. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought this was a federal indictment. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to come back and look at this. It's not a federal indictment.
Let me go back. Let me go to the next one. Let me check out the Michael Vick. The Michael Vick. I thought that was a federal indictment. I'm sitting there tripping. Is this it right here? Winston Shroud. And I'm gonna do Winston Shroud. This is Michael Vick right here. Let me do Michael Vick. I thought it was a federal indictment. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. All right, so this is the Michael Vick indictment. All right, conspiracy to travel in interstate commerce. Now, you remember Michael Vick was doing fighting the dogs. Now, I was wondering, well, how did they get jurisdiction over that? All right, this is what you got to read. You see, conspiracy to travel in interstate commerce in aid of unlawful activities and to sponsor dog and an animal fighting venture. Venture is a commercial term. You're doing this for business. The grand jury charges that beginning in or early about 2001 and continuing through on or about April 25, 2007 in the Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere, defendants Pernell A. Peace, also known as P-Funk and Funk, Quantus L. Phillips, also known as Q. Tony Taylor, also known as T, and Michael Vick, also known as Uki, did knowingly and willingly, notice how their private name is in upper and lowercase, but their government name is in all caps. All right? Did knowingly and willingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree with each other and with persons known and unknown to the grand jury to commit the following offenses against the United States, to wit, traveling in interstate commerce and using the mail or any facility in interstate commerce with intent to commit any crime of violence, to further any unlawful activity, and to promote, manage, establish, carry on, and facilitate the promotion, management, establishment, and carrying on of an unlawful activity, to wit, a business enterprise involving, okay, it's business, man. It be right here in front of your face. Why they don't want you to know? Because this is civil. The statutes are cross-indexed with amounts. So this right here, his charge is 18 U.S.C. 371. That's the statute. Conspiracy to travel interstate, that has an amount attached to it. You don't know what it is. That's why you got to ask him, Your Honor, would you please direct the prosecutor to provide the assessment for the charges along with a certified audit trail of all transactions, including voucher, as well as all disbursement documents and receipts. For the record, sir. You have to request that shit because they operating under a presumption that you don't care about that information. Everything is a presumption, man. They presume you already know what it is. They presume you could care less about the cost of the case. They presume you care less that there's a lien put against you. All these presumptions, man. And they have a right to presume. Because ignorance of the law is no excuse, is a damn maxim. That's what allows them to presume. Let's look at another one real quick. Where are the others? All right, this is Winston Shroud. You know, Winston Shroud got arrested a while back. Superseding indictment. They say Winston Shroud got arrested. Winston Shroud, he didn't pay no taxes. It's just like a very high-powered Jewish attorney told me a long time ago. He said, pay your taxes. That's what they want. They want you to pay your taxes if you're going to be receiving benefits and privileges from the government. So right here, you see all the non-negotiable bill of exchange and all that it talks about, but this is what I wanted you to see right here. No, let's read it. Execution of a scheme and artifice to defraud. It was part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shroud produced fictitious financial instruments which he falsely claimed had monetary value when he knew they had no monetary value. Why do they have to say he knew? Because it's mens rea. They can't find you guilty of anything unless you knowingly did something. You have to knowingly have done something. So that's the presumption too.
They're allowed to presume that you knew that you was breaking the law, once again, because of what? Because ignorance of the law is no excuse. It was further part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shrout, all caps, would produce these fictitious financial instruments. Now, you know, the all caps don't mean nothing. You know, that's what the attorney tells you. They don't mean nothing. Well, why you keep doing it? Will produce these fictitious, and we talk about corporations, everything we talking about is legal fictions. That's what a corporation is. A corporation is a legal fiction. It was further part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shrout would produce these fictitious financial instruments, naming himself as maker, drawer, or principal, and use a fabricated account number at the United States Department of Treasury, which number matched Shrout's social security number. Shrout would make and issue these fictitious instruments on behalf of himself and third parties, and he put routing numbers on them. It was further part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shrout would send these fraudulent and fictitious financial instruments and other documentation to financial institutions, both within and outside the United States, as well as the United States Department of Treasury via a private commercial carrier and the United States Postal Service, commanding the financial institution and the Treasury Department to pay Shrout and third parties through fabricated accounts. It was further part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shrout would provide verification procedures to third party through which he asserted the fictitious instruments were obligations of the United States. Legal tender as a national bank note or note of a national banking association and a legal tender obligation of the United States. They didn't put that in there for no reason. This is why you read case law. You need to read and see what did they do that got them fucked up. It was further part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shrout generated personal income by promoting and marketing the use of fictitious financial instruments as a means to pay off debts. We don't pay off debts. We set off obligations using private credit against public liability. It's called a set off. We don't pay. Stay away from that word pay. To pay off debts, including federal income tax. Shrout would provide handouts to seminar attendees that contain examples and templates for the creation of these fictitious financial instruments. It was further part of the scheme and artifice to defraud that Shrout would have these seminars recorded and make recordings and hand out materials available for purchase through the website WSSIC.com. Shrout marketed his materials and seminars through the website and by direct marketing emails to existing clients for the purpose of generating income for himself. The introductory allegations contained in paragraph 1 through 12 of this superseding indictment are all realleged and incorporated herein as if copied verbatim. On or about dates listed below with the District of Oregon and elsewhere, Winston Shrout, with the intent to defraud as to material matter, drew, printed, processed, produced, published, and otherwise made and attempted to make within the United States. Notice to say within the United States, you got to keep it private. It's public and private. Within the United States means something. Everything you do has to be private. As soon as you put anything on those negotiable instruments that can be construed as something public, they have jurisdiction over it. Public and private is the first thing that you have to understand. When you put those routing numbers on your negotiable instrument, you just made it public. I'll show you a case with another dude. That's what the attorney brought to everybody's attention. He put routing numbers on here. Because you know what people are doing is they're finding the Federal Reserve. Let me show you what they go over here. They get the key to routing, U.S. number, Federal Reserve Bank. Let me see if this is it right here. They would get these routing numbers. All right, so these are the routing numbers for each of the Federal Reserve banks. So what they come over here and do is they look at the letter on the back of your Social Security card, okay, and that would tell what Federal Reserve Bank. You know, A is one, B, C, D, E. Each of those are different Federal Reserve districts. You can see that on the $1 bill, all right? So now you would take the corresponding routing number and then you would change that letter into a number. Like if it's A, you turn it into 01, B 02, C 03. So then you create a check or a money order and then put the routing number, the account number, and the check number. And now you're routing it through their system, through the American Banking Association, which you don't have a license to do that or permission to do.
So I'm just giving you some education and some background on, because you have to read this stuff to see why people get in trouble. Because they'll word something like, okay, all this shit is just corrupt. People have been sending bonds to the Treasury Department for 30 years and nobody got arrested. If you got arrested, you did something crazy. For years. I know I done sent about 3 or 4 myself. All right, let's get back. I just want to hit y'all with that. Where is this? Hold on, let me get back to this. All right. On or about the dates listed below within the District of Oregon and elsewhere, Winston Shrout, with the intent to defraud as a material matter, drew, printed, processed, produced, published, and otherwise made and attempted to make within the United States false and fictitious instruments, documents, and other items appearing, representing, purporting, and contriving through material scheme and artifice to be actual securities and other financial instruments issued under the authority of the United States and an organization, to wit, documents titled International Bill of Exchange, that were issued for credit to the entities listed below, in the amounts listed below and bearing the serial numbers listed below, each instrument constituting a separate count of the superseding indictment. Look what this nigga was doing. $1 billion, $10 million, $1 billion. Now you start to understand how greed be coming into all of this and a lot of stuff, especially with the 1099 OIDs and everything. When you read the case, you have to read the case, you'll start saying, well, damn. And then they list all of this, but at the end is the real issue. He didn't file his income taxes. Let me see, because they put all this in here, but the real thing, willful failure to file return. That is how they got in. They added all this other shit on top of it. All this, read this stuff. Hold on. All right, where is right there? All right. On or about October 3rd, 2011, within the District of Oregon and elsewhere, Winston Shrout, with the intent to defraud as a material matter, utilized interstate commerce, including the use of the mails to transmit, transport, ship, move, transfer, and attempt and cause the same through the United States. It's on everything that you see, interstate commerce. But somebody keep on trying to make you believe this ain't no commercial matter. I done showed you the statute merchant, the clerk's praxis, Correction Corporations of America, the B424 prospectus, the CUSIP numbers associated with all the case numbers. Each one of those case numbers has a CUSIP number assigned to it. How these judges, this court registry investment system. I mean, what else you got to do? What else you got to do? I appreciate all of the donations. If you're in the private, they can't touch you. They have to have a compelling public interest. You got to violate one of their public statutes. Everything you do is based off a contract, man. Private people utilize contracts. Don't use their stuff. Don't use nothing that belongs to them. Don't use anything that belongs to them because you're coming into the public. Even a secure party process, they don't deal with no Treasury Direct account. Ain't no money. There's no money. There's no money. You're just given a promise to pay. All we got in our system is promises to pay. Let me give you something else. You can read the Federal Reserve, Modern Money Mechanics. You can read. Let's look at something. Let's see something real quick. Financial Accounting Standards Board Statement 95. Financial Accounting Standards Board Statement 95. Where is it at? Did I get it? Oh shit, this is a summary. Hold on. All right. So right here, you go down here, I think it's, what is it, 17? No, it's 21. It's page 21. You see right here, it say financial institutions. This is accounting. Accounting. All right. Let me read this. This is really interesting. It says financial institutions, particularly commercial banks, have long contended that their statements of changes in financial position are not meaningful. In response to the exposure draft, and the exposure draft was, they had this thing come up where they wanted, okay, this thing came up, was like, I'll use an example like your car. When you sign that car contract, that's a security. They're going to securitize that and sell it on, that's how they get their money. They sell it on, it's just money changing it. They change it from one form to another. It has value now because what is supporting it is the car. That's the value. So now that contract has value and they can convert it into something like Federal Reserve notes by exchanging it with somebody else on Wall Street. They can say, hey, look, give me, here's a car, it's a $100,000 car. He making payments on it, $1,700 a month. Okay, so over the next 7 years, you're gonna get $1,700 a month. Give me $50,000 and I'll sign this contract to you and you could collect the $1,700 a month for the next 7 years. And they gonna take the $50,000 and they out the deal. That's called discount. They discounting it and selling it. That's how they get their money. They convert it. It's just money changing. These money changers. What Jesus in the temple was pissed off about. What they was pissed off at him about. They was pissed off at Jesus for that banking. Because Jesus was coming in and saying, man, y'all snakes and vipers, y'all coming into the temple of the Lord with this money changing thing. He turned over their tables. He said, oh no, that's when he sealed his fate right there. Fucking with their money. All right, so banks generally have contended that the nature of their business and the resulting nature of their cash flows are significantly different from the cash flows of non-financial enterprises, and that those differences render information about a bank's cash flows virtually meaningless. Banks who responded to the exposure draft generally said that their cash flows, and why they want to expose it, because they got this bundle of sticks approach. How many, you retain some rights. If you look on the back of your car contract, you got a notice of, it's the Federal Trade Commission. It's called the holder in due course rule. It's called, because you're the holder in due course and you don't know it. You're the creditor too. I saw them say this. Holder, Federal Trade Commission, holder, and due course. Holder in due course, insured, and they put this, it's called claims and defenses. So this preservation of claims and defenses is on the back of your car contract. This is talking to the people on Wall Street. It's giving them a notice that you have rights that are retained, and one of them is set off. Set off, okay? So what they want to know is, well, how can we make this person who bought this car give up all his rights? Well, the only way you can make him give up all his rights, you got to give full disclosure. So the exposure draft was not created to help you. The exposure draft was trying to get them to give you some sort of notice, would be full disclosure, so they can have 100% ownership of that security. You still retain some rights, title, and interest in that security, and they don't want that. But they feel like they don't need to tell you about it because you don't know about it anyway. Vernon, it's called the securitization. Where did I get this from? His name is Vernon Lee, securitization. I think his name is Vernon Lee. I can't think of it right now. But I read a document. The creator, he's the dude who created he's the head of the securitization form. The securitization form. This dude like big time. American Securitization Form. All right, so these people right here, when they started that securitization, they started securitizing everything. This is how money's created. Money is created through making loans. So when you see this right here in the Financial Accounting Standards Board right here, you can see right here. He said banks who responded to the exposure draft generally said that their cash flows are much more complex and interrelated than those of other enterprises, and that a bank's cash flows are much larger in relation to net income and net assets than are the cash flows of a non-financial enterprise.
They commented, here it is right here. They commented that a bank creates money through its lending activities. That, they said, makes cash the product of a bank's earning activities. They create money through lending. And a court is a bank. They're doing the same thing. But they have to have something to securitize. And what the court is doing is you putting it on your body. They into slavery. And the Constitution says they can do it. All right, listen. Vernon A.C. Wright, set off isolation letter. That's it. You see right there, Tony Latoya. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. Vernon A.C. Wright. But somebody been following Vernon A.C. Wright. Somebody been following me and paying attention. Set off and isolation. Read this document right here. This letter right here is on script. You got to read this. This document right here is how I found out about this stuff. It's right here, FAS, FASB 140, set off isolation letter. When they say isolation, they're trying to isolate the asset from any claims that you could have. But in order to do that, they got to give you full disclosure, and they don't want to do that. That was the conundrum that they were faced with. This is a very, you see, I've been studying this. This is a very good ass fucking letter, man. The American Securitization Forum, thanks to financial accounting. This is a response to the exposure draft. They had attorneys and everybody responded to the exposure draft. Exposure, they wanted to give you full exposure. So, because they want to make these assets secured for the investors. And as long as you have an interest in it, they're not always secured. So the Federal Trade Commission requires them to put that claims and defense notice on all those car contracts. It should be on the houses too, but it's not. Listen, I'm running through this right now. I'm really trying to give y'all as much information I can. I can't stay on here like 10 hours talking about all this stuff. But if you just go and do your due diligence, I think I've given you enough where y'all can go and find out some stuff. And you can see what's going on in the criminal justice system. I don't understand why people don't know it's something wrong anyway. Everybody, somebody got shot. This nigga got shot and they trying to indict him. It's just some of the stuff I see that they do. It's all because of this rapacious appetite for money, that they just put all these false charges on people and ridiculous charges and things like that. Because you in the business of making money, and then we not supposed to say nothing. And the reason why they feel that way is because they look at you as a stupid ass heathen. You like cannon father. It's what they said in Behold a Pale Horse. It's directly what was said in Behold a Pale Horse. It was what was said in Behold a Pale Horse. Where is it at? I wanted to show y'all this. He said it was in Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. It was Silent Weapons, Quiet Wars. And I'm going to end it with this. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. This is a badass book. Everybody should have it. Go to Internet Archive. All right. On the section where they talk about energy. Where is it at? Let's see. Breakthrough. Things in the beginning up here. Historical introduction. Energy right here. All right, I'm gonna read this to you. Then I'm gonna go to bed because I gotta catch a flight tomorrow. But I'm gonna read this to you because I know some people are blind. I got a lot of listeners who call me. And y'all wish I read stuff, so I'm not reading it for the people who can read. It says energy. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the sources and control of natural energy. And social science
theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge, the end is control. Beyond this remains only one issue. Who will be the beneficiary? Who's going to be the person in control? And let's go back to 1954. In 1954, this was the issue of primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised, okay, so what about the morality of what they're doing? This is the answer to that. This is their morality right here. In view, although the so-called moral issues were raised, in view of the law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. You consented to be an animal. You don't want to read, you don't want to use your intelligence. Stop bitching. You chose to be a slave. That's what they mean when they say you voluntarily put your ass in this. Because you ain't educating yourself. You won't use your brain. You won't use your mind. And then they feeding it with that socialism. Because that socialism puts you in the mindset of a victim. Somebody else is doing this to you. You don't take no accountability or no responsibility for yourself. Because that's what a God does. Takes accountability and this responsibility for his life. And these weaklings, these peons. And let me tell you something, man. Communism is trash. It is satanic. It's everything against religion, everything against God. It's making them people your God. It's making a man your God. It's making the government your God. And now we need to see, well, who's in control of the government? Remember, I told you 70% of your offices are occupied by who? So, yeah, they want the government in control. They want no private property, government in control of everything. And then all we have to do next is let's see, well, who's in control of the government? Karl Marx was Jewish. The Bolshevik Revolution was Jewish. People talk about Nazi Germany. Go study the Bolshevik Revolution and see which one was worse. I don't downplay any tragedy. My people, 200 million of us got thrown over boats to sharks. It's an interesting thing. Who the owner of those boats? Who started the slave trade? Who the owner of those boats? What were their nationality? Why don't you go research that? I'm not lying. Go research it for you. I'm not even going to tell you who. I'm just telling you to go research it. All right. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate the likes. Like, comment, and subscribe. Under this video is my email. Sign up for my email list. All right. Everybody should sign. Just get on. I ain't gonna inundate you with emails and shit. I don't do that. But get on my list so if something happens, I can contact you. Get on my email list. The link to get on it is right below this video right now. You can look at it right now and get on my email list. Everybody listening to this should get out. I'll be sending out information and all kind of things through my email. So get on my email list. Join Currency Circulator. It's only $49.99. Join it. And refer 2 people. That's the requirements. You got to join and refer 2 people. If everybody do that, I'll be paying out $5,000 by the end of the week. I want to give you $20,000 over and over and over again. You're not going to get paid just one time. I got this thing set up so you can just keep getting money over and over and over and over and over again. Y'all understand? Fascists and communism were both socialists, but communists have never really got away in the socialist democratic movement. Socialism, communism, and Marxism all the same shit. Y'all try to make it's a distinction between them. They all rooted with the Jewish community. They're all the same thing. Why would you want the government taking care of you? This is a free country. I don't want nobody government taking care of me, man. That's how you know. Go and see under Franklin Delano Roosevelt how he appointed 72 Jews to his cabinet. 72. Obama too. Go do your research. You know what I'm saying? They instituted this social. They gave you a number. It's like tagging a pig. Because when they gave you that Social Security number, that was so they could start taxing your labor. When we had gold and silver, wasn't no tax. So the first thing they did was take your gold. Now you don't have no private transactions no more. We have money of exchange. Read the affidavit of Walker Todd. He's an attorney. He's an attorney. All right, y'all. Y'all say the Nazis were fascists. I don't think they were fascists. They weren't fascists. That's all propaganda. Let me tell you something. Adolf Hitler is the number one person on planet Earth who has been slandered more than any other person in recorded history. And you go watch the video, Hitler, the greatest story never told. It's like 12 hours long. You need to watch it so you can understand what's going on in between the Palestinians and the Israelis. You need to go listen to the Jewish guy, Benjamin Friedman, and he did a speech in 1961 at the Willard Hotel. You need to listen to Rabbi Finkelstein. Rabbi Finkelstein, they're going to say that that's fake, but everything I verified in there, he said, I found. You know, he said there was a book written in the 1940s that talk about sacrifices. Okay, now as a lady on my bid shoot, she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and talked about it. So don't think I'm making it up. And Rabbi Finkelstein said it. He said he didn't tell the name of the book. I found the book, and it was My Irrelevant Defense by Arnold Leese. But they're gonna call it. Everybody is gonna get labeled as anti-Semitic. Henry Ford did the International Jew. Do you know that Henry Ford spent half of his wealth trying to tell people all of this? Henry Ford, make Ford Motor Company, was the richest man in the world. Spent half of his wealth. He wrote a book called The International Jew. All of it is so much, it makes you wonder, okay, why are all these people saying this? Me as a black man, I ain't got no dog in the fight. It really ain't about us. It really is not. We ain't even involved in this fight because we don't own nothing. We ain't in control of no industries or nothing like that. But I'm telling you this because I want you to understand, if you want to preserve your freedom, you do not need to go into communism, socialism, Marxism, or anything like that. The reason that the victim mindset people believe that they are victimized, they want it because they think the system is unfair. They think the rich are oppressing the poor. But see, natural law don't go like that. Natural law dictates that you become whatever you think about all the time. So it's their thoughts that they need to get in order. That's why they're in the condition that they're in. But they don't want to believe that because that requires you to be what? Accountable. Feminism is lack of accountability. Look at all your women. You think it's a reason why none of these black women take accountability? They've been infected with not one. I ain't met one. You get on the internet, every last one of them, it's the man's fault. They'll cheat. It was your fault. They will not take accountability for anything because lack of accountability is one of the pillars of Marxism. Lack of accountability, no religion, feminism, homosexuality. That ties into the lack of religion because what? The Bible says that homosexuality is what? What does it say? What did he say? What is the Bible verse in Leviticus? It's in Leviticus. If a man lies, Leviticus 20:13, Leviticus, these are laws, Levi, Levitical priesthood. They were the priests, because you know, the priests were the original judges. That's why your judge wears a robe, a black robe right now, because the priest, but the reason he wears a robe, because all laws came from God. And statutes are for godless people. Statutes are for godless people. You're godless, you have to be governed
because you refuse to honor all them divorces. Why do you think y'all getting all them divorces? You made an oath to the creator of the boundless universe and you violated. You out there marrying divorced people. It tells you specifically in there, don't marry a divorced person. I understand why too. Look at all the other divorces that's happened on second and third marriage. Look at the amount of lesbians that have divorces and fight with each other. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. But it says, if a man lies with a male as with a woman, both have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. You think that homosexuals want to subscribe to that and that's in that book? You think they're going to ride with the Bible? Hell yeah, something come up and say, we're going to get rid of the Bible. Hell yeah, they riding with it. And I understand. I'm not trying to blame them. Something probably happened to them when they were younger. It's not their fault. You got a lot of depraved men out there. I ain't putting this solely on the women. The root of all this is weak men. The root of all this is weak men. Weak and depraved men in your government. Apathetic men. Ain't no strong men. There's no strong men willing to stand up. You let women, you let this feminism shit. How is feminism? I saw, they got a Bernie Mac. They got a video of this lesbian director trying to get Bernie Mac to set a little boy on his lap. Bernie Mac said, I ain't gonna do that. Bernie Mac wasn't doing everything they do, they try to put the man in a weak position. You don't see no more strong action figures no more. All the men they put out is weak bitch ass niggas. Pussies. Whiners. Well, I don't really know. Whiners and shit like that. It's sickening. And you slow because you don't even see it. And they inundate you with it. So you getting programmed. You can't resist the programming if you don't see the program. Which gives them further reason to say these motherfuckers stupid. They stupid. They are slaves. They are stakes on the table. They know better than animals by choice and consent. They are slaves and we can do what the fuck we want to do with them. All right. Yeah, Christopher Columbus, he was Jewish. They names start with, they Jewish because all their names start with a name out of the Bible. James, Ben, Matthew, Mark, Daniel, all of them got biblical names. That's the first sign. They take their names out of the Bible. They give their names meaning because those names have meaning. We don't heathens out there naming our children something that don't mean shit. You naming your children something that don't mean shit. Shalisa, Boo Boo, just some crazy shit. They got name books. Go into an African name book or something like that. A Hebrew name book. Don't give your children this made up shit. Your name is important. You embody your name. How are they going to embody something that don't mean shit that you made up off the top of your head? Just made the shit up. Names represent characteristics. It's only in our community that do that shit too. Only our community. We just make up some shit, pull some shit out of our ass, and call your child that shit. When one strays outside God's divine protection, you're no longer protected by God. That's right. Well, how do you come under the divine protection of God? By honoring his laws. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, once again, join my email list. The link is right under the video right now. Join Currency Circulate and let's get this thing going. Peace to the gods. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. I'm out.